Hi, gang. Hi. Hello. Hello. Thank you for the check-in, Tony. Orange. 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 Thank you for the check-in, Sable. How are we all going today? I hope we're doing well. Thank you for streaking, guys. Streaking all through my streams. For real, on Frog. Showing your cheeks. Alright. Today.
I'm gonna force myself to get good at Elden Ring by beating the first boss of the game headless using 2+3 Uchiha-katanas. After that, not even God will stop me.
Good luck, Akaza. You got this. I believe in you. You got this. Alright. Today. I'm going to... I'm pretty sure I have a waystone on me still. I do. It's in my regular inventory. I'm gonna stick a waystone in this little ribbit village because we're a long way from home. And I'll come back here at another point to figure out what to do with the ribbits. Get me out of this water. Ribbit village. Because now I can go home. I love me some waystones. Spread your ass cheeks instead of scratching the hole. What? Like, Maxine, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I'm gonna... Ooh. This is fucking messy! I'm gonna turn that into bread. I'm gonna trash the door. I don't think I need the door. I don't really need the fences either. But I don't want to trash those yet. Just in case. I need more storage space. Okay, I'm not gonna properly decorate it or anything. Do I do it there or... no. I'm literally just gonna dig down and make like a little basement thing. Because storage go burr. How tall do I want it to be? 1, 2, 3. That seems good. Maybe one more. Yeah. Hoggies! Hello, Pillow! How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. When your asshole itchy, do you just spread your cheeks instead of touching your asshole? Yes, I do, because I refuse to touch my butthole. That shit nasty. Gonna end up with fucking E. coli on my fingers or something. No thank you. I'm good. And if I absolutely have to touch the butthole, I'm washing my hands afterwards, like, thoroughly. Hello, mentally unstable wizard. How you doing today? Thank you for the check-in. I wonder, do I have any more torches? I'm pretty sure I do. I didn't, like, bring a ladder down here or anything. I was just like, yeah, let me... let me just fucking go down here with no preparation. I have got some sticks. Put that in there. I'm gonna put those away in there. that too. That's the furnace that comes with me everywhere. I'm gonna put the backpack in there because I've got another backpack. Where'd I get that from? It's cute though. If I had 2 of them, I would put them on my house. Slimy boys go in here. No, not there. Not there. Not there. Wrong one. In there. Those can go in there too. That can go in there too. Where's my wood? My wood and sticks. How many? I think it makes like 3, right? Yeah. I think I need.
I'm making my way towards Mariko's least favorite child, which is surprising since she locked 2 of her children in the sewers.
Oh. That's one way to get your children out of your hair, I guess. Fuck. Wait, can I do 2 different kinds of wood? Yeah. Give me that. Ladder. Now we go down. Okay. And we... I don't think you put one at the very top if you're putting a trapdoor over it. I don't know whether I'll put a trapdoor over it or not. We'll see. Perfect! Perfect amount. Just posted to Adult Lounge. What happens when you post something saucy in Twitch chat happens once a day. Wait, did you get auto-modded? Or did it, like, come up and be like, are you sure you want to send that? Are you really sure? Are you sure you want to send this? Yes, Twitch! Get out my ass! Yes, I'm sure! Finish seasoning your new wok and you made some chimkin! Yummy! Yummy chimkin. Least favorite child someone called? I will beat you up. Foot up ass. Remember what I said yesterday? I'll do it again. Do I have any No, I don't. Coal. Today I learnt that I don't have any coal.
You ever up listening to anti-capitalism, socialism songs and feel like throwing Molotovs into police buildings hypothetically in Minecraft?
Real. The anti-capitalist rage is so valid. And when there's music that, like, just fuels that rage, you feel... It gives you a sense of power. Last I checked, you don't summon snakes and throw spears at you. Maybe he does. Maybe that's what Sable does in his spare time. Are you judging his hobbies? Rage Against the Machine is your favorite band? Hell yeah. I don't think I know any of their songs. I know the band name, but I don't know if I've listened to any of their music. Yo, speaking of coal. Give me that. I need it. My fingers have been doing the pain thing. Is there anything that, like, soothes the pain, Maxine? Like, if you were to, like, dip them in cold water or, like, warm water or something like that? Like, temperature? Temperature play. Yeah, do temperature play to manage your pain. Playlist purely for anti-capitalism anger. For your OCs for the whole universe anti-capitalism. Yeah! Imagine having playlists for different moods and not just having, like, all your liked songs in one thing and just vibing along to whatever the fuck comes on. I kind of want to do it. Like, I want to, specifically my playlists will be, like, either for moods or for, like, if I want to have a little sing-along.
Sable is not Mesmer, though he may fuck Mesmer.
Real. Like, I need a playlist where if I'm in a singing mood and I want to, like, I just want music that I enjoy singing to. Because then sometimes when I just shuffle my liked songs, like, I like all my liked songs, but some of them, you know, they don't always hit right when it comes to being in the singing mood. Okay, I need chests. So many chests. I'm probably gonna take these chests down there as well, so this is gonna take a hot minute. I love temperature play! Prefer corn because sometimes you don't understand if they're even singing words. It's raging at our company being terrible at managing and sorting out marketing for the store, and it makes the autistic in her go crazy. Yeah, I can fucking imagine. You do put ice cubes in your ass? Thank you for sharing that, Maxine. Thank you for sharing. Yo, emote only! 25 playlists all for specific things. Yeah, I feel like I need to do it. It just... I just know it's gonna take time, and I don't like it when stuff takes time. I want things to be instant. I don't want to be patient. I want it now. I don't want to math how many I actually need, so... Oh, I made a table! Too bad I don't need tables right now. Set an example. See, it's instant if you do it from the beginning. But no, it's not the... I don't know, back when I first, like, joined Spotify, I never even thought about the idea of, like, having playlists. Like, it was never a thought that crossed my mind. I was like, oh, I like music, and it just goes into this big, long, list, and that's, you know, that's good enough for me. I didn't make this deep enough. I'm realizing now that I didn't make this deep enough. Should I do... Maybe I should do against the wall so that I can fit more against the sides. You also just have all your songs in one playlist? See, I'm not alone! I'm not alone. You have a playlist for different languages? That's pretty cool. How do I keep accidentally missing a square? Would it be easier if I just mathed out how many I needed? Absolutely. Am I gonna do that? No. Wait, I'm gonna do it now, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. How many I got in here? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I need... No. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, well, one of these chests is gonna stay in here then. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but it's gonna be one of them. Psycho who listens to everything on my playlist is a giant mess of music and sound. Yeah, me too, Pillow. Me too. Hello, Nex. How you doing? I hope you're doing well today. You used your liked playlist, then whatever Spotify recommends you. I honestly don't trust Spotify to recommend me anything good. I'm gonna be real. I am so scared of Spotify recommendations. I'm like, they're gonna fuck it up. I know it. I can feel it. Spotify recommends bangers. They actually have a good recommendation system. Maybe I'll give it a try at some point. Saddles are technically tools, right? I'm just putting everything away for now, and then once I've got everything sorted, I will, I'm gonna turn one of the chests in the storage room into just blocks. Or building materials, maybe. It's gonna be one of these ones, like, at the back. I'm gonna have to put signs on there! Hello, Inari! How are you doing? I hope you're doing well today. You're the freak for having specific mood playlists? No, you're not. I think a lot of people do, like, specific mood playlists. Because then, like, you know, if you're in an angry mood, you can listen to your angry songs. If you're sad and you want to have a little cry, you listen to all your sad songs. I think it's a really good idea. I just have never sat down and actually done it. Because I'm lazy as fuck. So it would be some calm self-help awareness song that followed by I hate everything about you. Literally, like my liked songs is just there's so many different moods in there. And I just vibe with all of them. It's great. Spotify recommendations are always better than YouTube recommendations. Okay. Okay, so I might actually be able to trust Spotify. Doo-doo. My YouTube music is perfect. Imagine listening to YouTube music. It could not be me.
Made it to second phase on my first try. Got to watch
I know that's
Mesmer
technically
remove
not
his
food.
eye. I didn't actually because FromSoft.
Let's go! Second phase on your first try is amazing, Akaza. I wish I could be that goated. Should I have like a greenery chest? Put like that sort of stuff in. I don't know. Once I've got everything into chests, I'll decide how many different chests I need and what needs to be where. That can go in there. Those can go in there. Okay. I don't feel like I need to keep the flowers. Bowl can go in there. Bun, sweet dough. Pickle. Pickle is greenery. Pickle to me is a greenery. A shrubbery chest. Exactly, Inari. You're at work, but you wish you were home in bed with your cat. Aww. It's okay soon. You just gotta get through the workday, and then you can go home and cuddle your kitty. When I have a Spanish song that goes into folk chat, and then something like Rage Against the Machine. Just a little bit of everything, you know? Missio, and you want to have sex with all of their songs? I've never heard of them. You do have a sex playlist, but you don't use it for sex. You use when you draw or write smart. It's okay. It gets you in the mood. It gets you in the mood. Recommendations are terrible when you listen to literally everything. Yeah, I can imagine. The recommendation system gets confused. It's like, what do I recommend this person? Don't use Spotify at all. I love my Spotify. Don't use YouTube music by choice. Spotify free sucks ass. You'd rather use neither? Yeah, I do pay for a Spotify subscription because I simply will not put up with ads. Ads can go and fuck themselves. Disrespectfully. I don't want to sit there and listen to them. I haven't got the patience. Is it a creeper outside the window? I sure fucking hope not. I need to put torches outside so that shit doesn't spawn. There is a spider out here though. But he's just chilling. Oh, there is a creeper. Hopefully he stays over there. I'm scared. Don't have internet access at work, and after experimenting, Spotify, yeah, Spotify is very good offline. I will give it that. It is very good offline. Love my, that's initially why I started paying for premium back,
I'll listen to a say raging
when I
against
was
the
in
system
uni.
and then I'll be scared to ask the cashier for extra tomato sauce when they got my order wrong.
It's okay. It's that's a universal anxious person experience. You get all angry and fucking riled up from angry music, and then you realize, oh, I am just a baby. I'm actually just a baby. Too mentally ill to be as epic as you want to be. You had to be nerfed. God knew you would be too powerful. Or I I say God, I'm atheist. The universe knew you would be too powerful if you weren't mentally ill. Where's my tool chest gonna be? I'm gonna put it here. I don't... Surface tome? Okay, eat my surface tome. That's where all that can go. Wait, what am I had a stone axe. Where did it go? I need that for a second. Yeah, give me that back. Then I'll put that. Pop. Easy. The rage is too strong in your heart. Hey, Spotify, because it adds music to your playlists without asking you. I think that's a feature you can turn off a Akaza, unless that's a free feature that you can't turn off. Because I have never experienced that. Ever. Hello, Nelson the Great. Thank you so much for the follow. I hope you're doing well today. Used to listen... what I used to use is Jellyfin. I've never heard of that. Completely free of ads, you do whatever you want. Then the server you hosted on died. Bruh. That's so depressing. Put the... What the fuck are you doing in there? And those, actually. Everything else can stay. Those can go in there. I love inventory management. Yummy. Oh. Yippee. Oh. Those. Yeah, I definitely think that's something you can turn off, Akaza. And I would recommend doing so, because fuck that. Fuck all that. Should I have like a book chest? I don't really know where to put the books. We've got the gay book. There's a book up here, surface tome. Maybe I should have them all in the same place, but... eh. Later. Okay, food chest. Food. Should I keep... I feel like I should keep the food upstairs. I feel like that's the thing that should be up here. And maybe my tools as well. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, well... I keep it there, or do I put it, like, next to my bed? I'll keep it there. That was a good place for it. And I'll keep only, like, proper, like, edible foods up here, not, like, ingredients. Or seeds. I feel like I could have, like, a seed chest outside near my farm to put all the seeds in. Do I have... I was gonna have a spare chest, I thought. My hat. Okay, that's full. Hold on. Go down the stairs! You could throw heads and be sexy. I'd have words with God if they exist. You deserve to have words with God. Cause fuck that dude! I feel... wheat gets turned into food too easily, so I'm gonna put it in here. Same with the bun. I don't really know what to do with the sweet dough yet, so that can stay in the basement. Schleimhead! The heads and stuff can go over here. With the baggies. This is all very confusing. I'm gonna need to make signs so that I know what everything's in. Thank you for the luck, Magna! I appreciate you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We need Tinder, but purely for someone to come over and share music together while laying in bed. That's a good idea. I feel like there'd be a market for that. This does feel badass. I'm sure you're not ugly, Pillow. Don't you call yourself ugly. Not in my chat. No self-slander here. Put all the food and shit. All the... yeah. I'm calling it food. It's not all food, but I'm sure we'll survive. Enchanted book. Upgrade can go... That's just completely empty in there. Found out your older sister now has 3 doggies! 3 puppies! Oh my goodness. Love the puppies. I put my hats. There they are. Okay. And then... my wood. Because I need to make another singular chest. And then I'm gonna make another chest to go outside that's gonna have all the farming stuff and shit in it. Give me! Hand it over. There we go. Okay, let's put that there. And then farm and chest. Go like there. Get away from me. Leave me alone, you 8-legged cretin. I'll do it again! I'll beat you up! Jellyfin can be used for more than music. It can be used for legally problematic Netflix book reading and photos, but no one uses that feature? That's kind of surprising. Slander is spoken, writing it. Yeah! Since I never turn off your music, he has to suffer with whatever new genre. No! I'm sure he loves it. You have that shit on 24/7. Hey, music is good. Music deserves to be on 24/7. You're not a dog person? I get that, Akaza. I like dogs, but I'm not a huge dog person. And yes, this is the Tokyo Ghoul anime intro. It slaps. I refuse to take any criticism on this song choice. Yeah, I'm not super big on dogs. I think dogs have been slightly ruined for me by people that don't train their dogs properly. What is that doing in there? It doesn't belong in there. Because, like, I enjoy being around dogs. Until they're super energetic, jumping all over me, barking, making noise, and then it's just really overwhelming. And I'm like, this is not the vibe. Like, I grew up with a dog. We had a family dog, but she was a little, white fluffy thing. You know, one of the little white fluffy yappy dogs that everyone hates on? Yeah, we had one of those. I loved her to bits. She was adorable and wonderful. Annoying, but she was little and she was cute. And I loved her. She was just a baby. I'm gonna take my fish upstairs. This is gonna be like cooking ingredients, except for the bamboo. Bamboo is not a cooking ingredient. Bamboo belongs in the greenery chest until I do something with
named
it.
a boss after me. There's a boss in the Bloodborne DLC called the Living Failures.
Yeah, they named them after you? Really? Living Failure? I'll take $10 then, Sable, because her name was Zoe. I named her myself when I was like 6 or 7. You just like me for real. Tokyo Ghoul really disappointed. The first season was so good. Yeah, I remember really enjoying the first season, but not really liking it from there on. It's like the exact same note. You gave a specific name, therefore you lost. Really great to have your two daughters in the house because you always have some music or videos playing. Your daughters love it. Your wife hates it though. Oh, that's disappointing. But you get to vibe along to music all the time. How could you hate that? I'm glad your daughters like it though. That's cute. No one uses the photos because there's better alternatives if you want to host photos on a server. You right. You right. But what about like the Netflix thing? Totally legally obtained Netflix. That thing. Oh shit, that's supposed to go in there. Where's my bread? Because it's not in there. Where did it go? Is it? Oh, it is in there. Okay. Big brained. Now give me all of my tools, please.
I believe it is prime nail harvesting season.
Prime nail harvesting season? Oh no, he's gonna turn them into fucking helicopter nails. Organs are not worth much. I'm pretty sure your organs are worth more than $10.
Bird person, death lizard person, random creatures like capybara and chinchilla and more.
I love
Just
chinchillas.
not a people person.
Just not a people person? Real. You're an animal person. I get that. I also really love animals. There's just some animals that... Dogs are kind of annoying. I like cats over dogs, but I am overall an animal person. Hello, Peppa. Thank you for the check-in. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Should I carry my fishing rod around with me? That seems overkill, right? Oh, no, not that one. Take the one with more durability. Please. I'm gonna take that. I have a trash bag! I didn't know I had a trash bag. I'm gonna take the spyglass. And the shears. And a saddle. I also need to take a bowl for the mushroom soup. And you never know when you'll need a bucket of water. And torches. And I also keep these with me. You see why my inventory fills up so quick? Why would I leave anything behind? Oh, I need my bed. I'm not gonna take the fishing rod though. I'll take that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Let's organize this a bit. I'm gonna have the stone first. Not that. Have the bow at the other end. Yeah. Oh my god, I got a plank pattern. Plank. I'm gonna put that in the block chest. In the block chest. I'm going to carry around some dirt and some wood. Just in case. Just in case.
Highly recommend Traveler's Backpack. You can make one without those tanks, and have both that one and your current backpack equipped at the same time.
Wait, actually? On Frog? Oh, it's 1L? How about I eat you? Because what have I got at the moment? I've got a Wanderer backpack. Have the standard Traveler's backpack. Is this the one you're talking about? Infinitely better because they can be upgraded? Yeah. Which one is the one that doesn't need the backpack tanks? Then you have even more inventory space. I want a Komodo dragon as a pet. That would be a super cool pet. They're literally like real life dragons without the wings. I'm also doing good, Peppa. If not pet, why pet shaped? Exactly. Trying to convince your father to get a cat since you turned 18? Keep trying, Akaza, you got this. Too many bad experiences. That's okay, Pillow. Not everyone likes animals. Mostly used for streaming your legally obtained movies, music streaming. Oh, okay, okay. Starting your 48th viewing, let's go! People aren't friend-shaped, you right. You right. Just make the same recipe without the tanks? Oh. So you just do this, but without the backpack tanks. ATM survived. Traveler's backpack upgraded a spider backpack that lets you climb rocks. Let's go. I mean, why does the recipe have the tanks there then if you can make it without it? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I've got the sleeping bag. I don't have a chest. Tanks used to be default. Oh, okay. Make that chest. How do I access the backpack separately though? Because is B not to access the backpack as like the other backpack as well? Is there a different button? Do I have leather? I do. And I have gold as well.
Have spent more watching Lyos fail to navigate social situations than I did studying during my entire time in school.
Real. Real. There was something else I needed down here. I forgot. I'll remember as soon as I go back up here. Okay, so what was it? It was that. Am I wrong? That's the same, right? Sims action has been erased, literally. I'm pretty sure I've got the latest update. You don't have it, you'll need the... Bruh. How do you make them? Oh, they're not actually even that hard to make, it's just iron and glass, okay. That's easy enough. Didn't I have a fuck ton of sand somewhere? There it is. You updated your own pack, right? Gotcha. And then, oh, the iron, I forgot. Iron. Not updated. Womp. I'm not gonna make that much. Actually, I'm gonna make exactly how much I need, which is like 12, I think. Never studied for school. I didn't start studying properly until I was in high school. Until then, I didn't really need to. But then it got to like, I feel like it was grade 9, and I was like, shit, this stuff's actually starting to get a little harder. I might actually have to do something about it. Keybinds. Alright, where's mini backpack? Be under this one, right? Z, okay, Z is something else. What is that bound to? Swap tool, change hose mode. Hose? Where's the hose? Where the hose at? I hate fucking around with keybinds. Why, there's so many things. Reload gun / weapon! No. Wait, I don't really do social interactions. It's a single player world. Where's the social interactions thing? Do I need P? You won't use hose? Okay. And then, how do I unbind? How do I unbind something? How do I make it not bound? Choose a different one? There we go. And then, wait, is the other one set to B, or do I have to change that? Where is it? Yeah, okay, that one's set to B. Why is that saying that it's not? It's not conflicting. Conflicting with what? Oh. Open wardrobe? Boy. Open this wardrobe. Okay. That's fine. Surely we won't have any problems. Didn't go to school after high school, so you never really studied. Yeah, I did tertiary education. I did university, which technically I'm still doing it because I'm studying my master's. I'm in the middle of studying my master's, but I've taken a bit of a break because of life events and haven't gone back just yet. But yeah, I've done tertiary education, and you kind of have to study for that. That don't really it's not really much of a choice, otherwise you failing. Time to shoot a Pikachu! Yeah, no, there's no Pokemon in this one. This one is quests instead. Love me some quests. Actually, I have the chalk now. Where's... Okay, I've got a stone cutter somewhere, so I need the stone cutter. And I think I have the right chalk. It's this one. And then the stone cutter is here. Let's see if this works. Plop that down. Yippee! I have a chalk stick! Let's go! I can draw. Oh, you can turn the lines around as well. It doesn't look right. Something don't look right. Wait. Wait. Oh my god. Oh, holy shit, there's so many. What the fuck? That's a long penis. Wait, no, I want to put something in the middle. Wait. Aww. Yeah, no, that one. Yeah, boy! Gok. The balls are probably a little small, but it's okay. It's a penis. Basically, it's a penis. Including modern colors. Guys, we're gonna have so much fun. We could draw infinite colored dicks. What are you going to school for? I did my undergraduate in psychology, and I'm doing my master's in counseling. So, learning how to help people. You're probably tired of me talking about lack of breath and pain, but you're about to see me in the news. Nah, Maxine, we understand. We understand. You need to let it out somehow. It's frustrating. Okay, so what else? I need bleached chalk and chalk powder. How do you get chalk powder? Yes, I'll click your mum to view the recipes. I don't want to know what I can turn chalk powder into. I want to know how to make... It means it's natural. How? How does it spawn naturally if it just spawns in blocks? Brother. I'm gonna go put my chalk away. I wonder if maybe, like... Because it's the nature's spirit. What if I, like... Oh, shit. I'll try interacting with it with different tools. No. What happens if I break it without the tool that it's supposed to be broken with? It just doesn't drop anything. That's cool. I thought this was supposed to tell you, like, what to interact with. Can I cook it? Cook it. Cook! Okay, I cannot cook it. Oh shit. Give me that. Give me back my fucking pickaxe! Bitch ass. Tried to steal it. Can't tell you it's a unique mechanic. Thank you for looking. It's big enough. I'll see it here in America. Finger paint stopped. Hell yeah. Have to erase the entire continent for the US to give enough of true, real. Okay, I'm gonna put this. Wait, what was the other thing? There was another thing here. Bleached chalk, which I can either go and find the bleach do, or I can just fucking buy it for 8 iron coins, which I think that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Because I am not going to find it. I mean, I do need to find a sniffer, so technically I should probably do that, but like, when I can just buy it. I can just buy it. Sniffers are cute. They're cute little fellas. I'm going to put chalk in there. Oh, my glass is done. Hell yeah. So it was that, and then there we go. And I go bop 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 backpack. Okay. Put on the backpack. Backpack! Backpack, back. Oh. No, I want to wear it. Yeah. Give me my backpack. Okay. Huggies. Fluttering image of a celebrity or sucking Trump's wrinkly orange dick. You right. You right. Okay. Oh, I gotta farm my rice. Where did I put that? So that I can actually continue on with the farming quest. I'm gonna need water, because I think... Can it only grow in water? Let's find out. I'm gonna break those. Yeah. So it needs to be moist. Okay. I'm going to just... It's gonna annoy me that's not symmetrical, but it's fine. It's Gucci. Oh, I gotta go. Let me go get water, because I didn't do the 2x2. So I go pick up water. Thank you. Thank you for water. Experiment when you have the energy. I can, when I feel like I want to complete that quest, like I actually want to complete that quest, I'll sit there and try and work it out. It can't be that hard. And, oh. Plant the rice. Plant the rice. So many crop. Guess there's no harm in collecting them all. Tomato. There's a whole set of cooking quests, so I'll probably need all these ingredients. I've got 2 different kinds of tomato. Oops. Oopsie. Inventory, go burr. Go downstairs. Wait. Put what can go in there first. Have I made the strawberry bag yet? I haven't. Because I did not have enough. Thank you for the pets, Chili, and thank you for petting Tub as well, Tani. Impossible for you to figure out every single mechanic and include it. Yeah, no, that's okay. No, I get it. It's all good. I thought I had strawberries. Apparently not. Going there. And then beetroot's going there. The rice can go in there as well. And then should be some strawberry seeds in here. Huh. Got strawberry seeds here though. Plant those strawberries. Okay, Poggies. What is that? Oh, it's a rotten tomato. What can I do with that? Can I eat it? I guess I could put it in the composter maybe. I need it for a quest. Okay, I won't get rid of it yet then. Put them in here. You wish it was 9 PM? What time is it for you, Pillow? Straw my berry till I jam! Looking at Raga's profile before she was live, Discord saying you're playing lonely mode? What the fuck is lonely mode? Huh? 3 AM? Damn, it's late for you, Pillow. Will the day to be over and wake up and move on? I mean, if you're tired, you could go sleep now. You could go home shoes. And then you get to time travel. That's what sleeping is. It's just time travel. Put those back. Put those in there. The corn can go in there as well. And tomate. Oh, we got 3 different kinds of tomatoes. Oh no. It's fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong with that. Put potatoes in there. I didn't put the leather away! This is the only problem with doing shit like that, is that if you forget to put shit away, you gotta go back down. You wish you were tired? Rip. It's okay, you get to chill here and hang out in Minecraft. Stay up at night with the girls to make sure they get their food. Aw, that's nice of you, Pillow. Must feed the babies. Can't tell if you're tired or not. I'm always fucking tired. So, like, that's just a way of life for me. Okay, where's my nature's compass? What? Is the mushroom fields where the mushrooms spawn? Yeah, I love Set It Off. I got a bunch of their songs on my playlist. I mean, because you haven't worked on writing your novel past like Tiny's? No! It's okay, it can take time. It's allowed to take time. Alright, we're gonna go look for mushroom. I didn't even think to use the nature's compass yesterday when I was like looking for a mushroom island. Did not even think of that. How much does it- oh my Jesus. Brought prawns for you, you're too sad to even eat prawns? No! Will they still be okay to eat tomorrow? Then you can have nom-noms tomorrow. Wait, the zoom does more? I think there might be another level of zoom that I Oh, scroll. Oh! Why did I never think to scroll? In fridge, hell yeah. Your twin daughters are 7 weeks. Oh, they just tiny little babies, Pillow. Oh my goodness. You're such a good dad helping out with them and staying up so that they get their foods, and that means your wife doesn't have to get up and feed them. Another method for getting arse itches without touching the hole is farting hard. That works. Thank you for sharing, Maxine. Thank you for giving us that information. Yeah, no, Tani, I'm with you. I've tried prawns multiple times, and I don't think it's the flavor that gets me, it's the texture of them. I don't particularly like the texture. New Zoom Spyglass. Zoom and Spy. Oh. You're right. Let me try that. Hold on. It won't work very well down here, but like. I mean, it seems like you can. Yeah. Damn, look at all those pixels. I think just the zoom is enough. Might as well save a slot in my inventory. Okay. Have I got my bowls? Yes, I do. Time for an adventure. Hello, Makala. Makala, do you like my penis? Do you like the penis that I drew with chalk? Do you like it? It's real big. Oh, I love calamari. Calamari is amazing. You consume their tails as well? That's wild. What about their poop shoots? Do you consume their poop shoots? Don't eat seafood because no one in this part of America can make seafood correctly. That's fair. When I do eat seafood, I am very selective about where I eat it at. Like the places that I'll eat it from. So I get you. But I'm not a big seafood person in general. There's a couple that I like. Like I don't mind tuna specifically if it's like tuna salad. Like a tuna salad sushi roll. Those things fucking slap. I like calamari. Some, like, battered fish I will eat. But I'm picky.
I can't even attempt to try them just cause of how they look, so I mean there is a chance I like prawns, but I can't force myself to try it.
Oh, really? It's how they look that gets you? That's interesting. Tuna's a lot for very specific- yes, very specific dishes, yes, definitely. If I peel them, you take the poop, but you don't really care? Yeah. Eat the poop! Nom nom nom. Think living next to an ocean, people could make it right? You would think, wouldn't you? Oh my god, it's another outhouse! Let me shit real quick. Sorry guys, I need a shit. Okay, I shitted. No spray. It's an outhouse for a reason. It's supposed to smell bad. Tentacles, yes. Seafood, no. Real. They have eyeballs and legs. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. You can get them without the eyeballs and legs, though. Like, if you get pre-shelled ones, they don't have eyeballs and legs. They're just, like, little curly things. Yeah, give me the coin. Okay, wait. I have a backpack that has a... Are you shitting my cock? Are you shitting my cock? That did not just happen. I thought we fixed it! Oh, okay, no, it's in my inventory. It's in my inventory. Oh my god, I thought it fucking disappeared. I was about to lose my mind. Give me back my fucking backpack. tentacles are famously not seafood. I mean, if it depends what the tentacle's off of. Pre-peeled ones taste worse, they go squishy. Ooh. You have a great penis. Thank you, Makala. I'm glad you think so. Always try to make you try them and you run away and lock yourself in the room. I don't like it when parents are like try to force you to try things when you know you don't want to. It feels so shitty. It's like, I'm a human being that can decide what I like to eat and what I don't like to eat. Said I was eating them. Okay, fair. It has to be more than just prawns and prawns, so you can only get one at once. Yeah. Yeah, seafood's expensive as well, depending on what it is that you like. Ray would have an immaculate dick. I bet she'd clean. I would clean it well. My dick would be the cleanest dick you've ever seen. Smegma, not here. Absolutely not. Peeled back foreskin, scrubbed underneath. So clean. No musty smells. More so does it as a joke because he knows you hate prawns. Okay, it's fair if it's a joke. That's fine. Clean your dicks. Please clean your dicks. It's necessary. And if you think you've cleaned it enough, clean it a little bit more, because it probably smells musty and you can't smell it. But the person that's sucking it can. Your dicks are clean? You have more than one, Tani? Damn, blessed. Wait till payday, then you get seafood pack from the local chip shop, like fish and chip shop. Hell yeah. You can never clean them enough, literally. Can taste exactly what you've been doing. Yes. My dicks are clean. Dicks, plural. I love that. I don't want no musty ass penis in my mouth. You like the musk? Nah. It makes me gag. It makes me gag. I don't want no musty dick. Your man's own taste. Maybe I don't like Henry's own taste. Body musk. Oh, hi, Maya! That is a very Maya-esque thing to say. Scared you into taking a shower right after? As it should, honestly. I'm gonna go around. Actually, maybe I can pick them off from a distance. This is just like a little house, right? Is this not the one that I've been to before? I thought I like killed them. Are they all in the house? He's not in the house. Where is he? Found him. Ow. How much health do you have? There we go. Did he drop a head? Fuck yeah, I got pillager head. I gave the pillager head.
Fun fact, a dentist can tell when you've been sucking dick excessively. They can tell from bruising in the back of your mouth.
I don't like that. Give me your It just turns it back into a regular cow? Oh, that felt so mean. I'm sorry, you can have them back. You can have them back. I'm sorry. There you go. Sorry. I'm sorry. If you went to the dentist, won't back down from it, it's okay. Kind of have to like it a little bit when you yeah, real. Yeah, I deflowered the cow, guys. Let's not say that. Let's not say that, actually. I think that was a very poor choice of words. Why you gonna clip him like that? Is that a... Oh, wait! Is this gonna turn it back into a... I have a quest to do that. Give me the fucking quest, you whore! Or did it already do it? Find a moo bloom mushroom, shear a moo bloom. I fucking did. I did. What more do you want me to do? Sable! Why isn't it working? Yeah, but it hasn't ticked off. It didn't tick it off. I thought it was supposed to tick it off. Why is it not working? It's not even saying I'm observing it. I am so oh my god. Damn, you didn't have to show me all that. I am so observed right now. So Ellen see the fucking lord, what would it be under? Biomes, mining, oceans, animals. And then is it just gonna be a picture of a shear? Might not have oh. Breed 2 sheep to get a lamb. Showing off the underside before you deflower it! Am I... Okay, it's not under there. There's so many! I think those are all modded ones. It has to be under here somewhere. Beekeeper. Frog family. Rabbit season. Bucket. Bunnies. Rabbits. Leads. Oh, like not shown yet. How do I unlock it? I thought they would all show up regardless of whether you'd unlocked it. Shh. Wait, you saw the shear symbol? Am I blind? What the fuck is that? There. That's just wool. Hey, look, Mom! Advances are hidden like that sometimes. I guess I'll have to come back at another point. Well, let's see if the mushroom one works. It's not your fault. You can't test all of it. It's a shame Geek's not here because if Geek's speedrunning the pack, then maybe he's got it. And maybe he can tell me what I'm doing wrong. Minecraft is more genderqueer positive than most Americans. Real. Minecraft cows have udders and horns. They're bi-gender. Hell yeah. It's not your fault. Because unless someone was willing to go through the whole pack before you released it, like, that wasn't you, which would take literally, like, ages, then it's, like, it's not really feasible. Am I gonna need a... Yeah, I'm gonna need to make a boat. I need to make a boat. boat. I can remember and go back to see if you can fix it. I mean, do you wanna... Or I can do it. If I go to... I want to ask Geek if he's got it first, because if there's something that I haven't done that I need to do, then technically it's not broken. It's just something that I haven't done. Hope you won't get mad at me for adding him, because I'm going to. Fuck off, streamer mode. I want to know who I'm adding. You done the moo bloom quest under... What's it called? Touching grass. Under the... Touching grass page. Should a moo bloom. It didn't work, but not sure if there's something else needed first. There we go. Let's see if he gets back to me. Because yeah, it might just be something that I didn't do. Minecraft chickens can hatch from eggs and eggs are produced without a second chicken. Does that mean Minecraft chickens have evolved to asexual reproduction? Yeah. Yeah, they have now. Enderbolt. Let's go. Get the 2 cows breeding makes another cow. What if Reddit knows that if I enable disable a setting, should actually enable disable that setting? Real. On Frog, Maxine. Should be able to force complete it if it's broken. That's why I want to make sure to see whether it is actually broken first. Or if there was something else I needed to do. Because I don't want to force complete it if there's just something I haven't done. Oh. What the fuck happened there? I was holding W and for some reason I turned around. Okay. No! Stop apologizing or I'll shove my foot up your butt cheeks. I'll touch your butthole with my toe. I'll eat your spleen. Is that it? Oh my god, it's a mushroom island! Nature's compass, my beloved. Why am I not seeing any... Why is it not showing any mushrooms on the island? I will piss if there's no mushrooms here. I will piss on someone's pillow. I haven't decided whose yet. Might need to be daytime? Okay. Alright. Shh, shh. Me. It's looking more and more like I'm gonna piss on someone's bed! Where the fuck are my mushroom cows? You've never found a mushroom island, so can't... It should be mandatory for them to spawn here! Where are they? Fucking snail. Yeah, piss off. Maybe if I kill these guys, a mushroom will spawn in. Maybe the mushrooms are just scared of, snails. Could there be one over there on that tiny little island? I think it would have shown me by now if there was one here. Bruh. Do you think if I stay here for a while, one will spawn? Spawn randomly, so you might have to wait. Okay, I guess I'll just hang around. Shark eats a pussy on the way to the island. I would cry, actually. I've come so far. I guess I just stay here. Where's my food? Zeph's pillow! Hey, wait, can we talk? Wait, we can talk about this. You don't want a piss pillow? You sure you don't want a piss pillow? I'm sure someone out there is into it. Hello, Hummer. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Tower Farm was when there were heaps on it already. Yeah, I think I've only found one once before, and it was in the Gaycraft world. I don't know how many of y'all were here when we were playing on that world, but it was like a Cobblemon modded world. And I found a mushroom island, and there were mushrooms on it. So I guess I just sit and wait. Chunks aren't loaded, they won't spawn, so it's a 50-50 when you load the oh, okay. Should I be killing things, like, around to encourage them to spawn? Is that how it works? If you piss on me, I'm gonna get some belly button as payment. What are you gonna do to it? What are you gonna do to my belly button? Oh. Is there any quest for, like, collecting mushrooms? I mean, there's fucking recipes, so why not? Give me these. Brown mushroom colony. Yeah, give me those colonies. Quest isn't immediately easy. No! It's not your fault. This is just a case of spawning, taking time. Does it show me the recipes for these? I need red mushrooms as well. Butter. Yellow mushroom nightlight. Oh, they're so cute! Look at them! Okay, so I don't need, like, a fuck ton of mushrooms. I don't need to go crazy. But, like, it's a good idea to have some mushrooms. Yeah, nightlight collection. I don't know whether I'll, like, do the collections last, or whether, like, maybe when I want to break from figuring out what quests to do, I'll do some collection instead. Some collecting. Before or after 1.7?
Sends a controversial opinion on Twitter and set phone notifications to vibrate and puts phone in my panties.
Big brain. I mean, Maxine, you could just buy a vibrator. It's okay. No one will judge you. Why was there only one red mushroom on this entire island? I know I can break these, but, like, I don't want to. They're so cool. Look at them. Twitter bans speedrun. What even qualifies as a bannable offense on Twitter anymore? I've seen people say so much shit that I'm just like, I feel like you could say anything on that platform. Being trans? Okay, that's fair. Buy a vibrator in this economy? Hey, I'm gonna be real honest for a second. So, a few weeks ago, Henry got this rose toy from Temu. And, like, at first I was like, oh, sex toys from Temu? It's amazing. It is very good. If you want cheap ones, Timu's your gal. Or mean to Elon, mean to Muskrat. They're being mean to me. I'm gonna ban them. I'm gonna ban them from my hell site. It's on Amazon. Don't have to use Temu. I mean, it might be more expensive on Amazon though. Barely able to afford the dildo. I didn't make you buy shit. The cheap as fuck still. Well, I like mine. Until that one dies, it's staying with me.
Aircon time.
Aircon time, thank you. What's he doing? It's a magical snail. Timo has the same product, really? Bruh. Henry, do you know how to get a mushroom to spawn?
You need to be in the mushroom island.
Are you looking at my screen?
Not before I said that. Stuff spawns 16 blocks away from you, I think it is.
So I have to leave and come back again a bunch of times?
Well, I don't know, because I thought... What I got told when I was a kid was that mushrooms didn't respawn. They spawned on this island when the map was made and there was a limited amount of them.
Oh.
That's what I got told when I was a kid.
There was just none on this island. Came all the way here. $22? That is really good. Now you made me. The exact same product as Amazon, just with a different producer and name. It's all the same. Crazy. Don't think they respawn?
They...
But like, what if it just doesn't spawn in the first place? I'm gonna shit and piss.
I mean, this website says that they respawn during the day.
I already waited overnight. Can I find another one?
The mushroom transformed into a brown. Never mind.
Do a cow kiss the land for the cows. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Just as they spawn in herds of 4 to 8.
Well, this one spawned in herds of 0. Where the fuck is my boat? No, where is my boat? Hello? I thought it was on that side. Try lighting up the island a bit. I mean, is it because it's fucking raining? Yeah, but it wasn't raining before.
They need to be in light level 9 or higher.
Hello, CM! Let us craft but gay? Yeah, exactly. I create a summoning circle of torches. One in the middle. Do I sleep until— why does it have to be raining? Follow the same rules as other animals? Okay.
Oh, 30 blocks away, not 60.
Let's light this bitch up. So what are you saying? I should leave the area and come back, or
not be in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
Be like at one of the tips, maybe. Yeah, the rain might be stopping it, so it has to be...
Could be, but I don't think it was raining before.
Was it daytime?
Yeah, it was daytime. I slept until daytime and then... sleep again, I guess! Might also be too many mobs, the thing where no more than 72 mobs. So, should I go in the ocean and kill the things that are in the ocean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's why I was killing the snails. Murder time! Oh my fucking god, there's so many. All the fucking fish! Go away, tuna. Me when mechanic in Minecraft is... It's not your fault! Stop! We love a good murder, especially when it comes to fish. Give me a tuna. Why are the limpets spawning up there? This is gonna take forever. There's so many of them. We can summon the torch god and they can be just as confused as you, literally. Oh no, the limpets are under there somewhere. That's why they only showed up when I walked down here. What if I shoot them with my bow? How much health do you think a jellyfish has? Oh, okay, I hit it with 2 arrows and then it dies. Or 1. I missed. Oh, come on, that's bullshit. That's also bullshit. Die! Are you serious? I'm gonna lose my mind. 10 stream streak, let's go, CM! Thank you so much for streaking! I'm gonna buy a cheap ass hey, sometimes the cheap ones are all you need. You have one of those Lovitz vibrators so you can hook it into games for haptic feedback. Okay, that I understand. I don't think this is working. It's just wasting arrows. Giant isopod! Fuck these fish. I have 5 trauma! When the pussy too strong. When that gorilla grip is too much. Is that what the jellyfish drop? They drop slime. Hell yeah. Who needs slime blocks when you have fucking jellyfish? Oh my- I hope they don't brush their teeth with it. Quick fucking... When you brush your teeth in the morning, you have a... do a quickie as well with your vibrating toothbrush. Just to refresh you in the morning, you know? If a shark comes and eats my ass, I'm gonna be very upset. Although I haven't seen any sharks. Just lots of tuna and jellyfish. They have 2, 1 for teeth and 1 for brushing elsewhere. That's wild. At least they're being hygienic though, you know? Gotta give them props for that. If only I had another warp stone, I would just put a warp stone here and come back and check every now and again. I guess I could put a waypoint and then just go and do something else, come back and check later. Mushroom Island. The controllers aren't strong enough. Get yourself a better controller. It's a shame I can't get the compass to find another one. Like, I want it to find another mushroom island. That's not this one. But yeah, it's trying to take me here. I'm built different! Pussy built too strong! So the quote, I've used a broken hairbrush handle, and everyone thought, oh. Thought she broke it herself just for the pleasure. Just for the pleasure of using it as a dildo. There's some good controllers that can take the beating and have more power. Yeah, just gotta find the right controller for real on Frog. Okay, I think my boat's at the other end. Yeah, it would be, because that's where I entered. Mm-hmm. $200? Bro. Battery life of 120 minutes? That's not very long. In the grand scheme of things, that's not very long. That's 1.5 sessions! Alright. Okay, let's see if I can... I'll go back to my house and see if my rice is finished. Gonna make a beeline for my house. Upsetty spaghetti about the mushrooms not spawning, but alas. Man, sucks because you see 120 minutes and you just know you'll never last that long. Back to back. No refractory. Maybe I'm built weak because I'm a one and done kind of gal. Gonna spend a long time figuring Sable's belly button! Not the belly button! No, I just don't have it in me. Four hours close to 5, I would die. I would keel over. Not to mention that I'm there like, what about my games? Fucking with ADHD is something else. My brain's thinking about too many things at once. 7 hours? That's like an entire fucking day. Takes longer than an hour to bust. I give up, literally. I don't think I've ever had a session last longer than an hour. Because I'm just, I'm tired. I want to go do something else now. Like, that sex was poggers and all, but have you ever played Minecraft? Have you ever completed quests in Gaycraft? I got shit to do. Damn, Sable! Zeph catching strays. I've paused Skyblock to Jork while waiting for farms. Okay, that's kind of real. Played split screen Minecraft after? Fuck yes. How it should be. How the sessions should be. Actively in you, just like...
Huh?
Just like going through your panties and shit? Like, huh? Just leaking out onto the gaming chair? Don't play games a lot often, so it doesn't stop me from jorking, but I do rather watch these streams. Hey, look, if you didn't tell me that you were jorking it while you were watching streams, you could jork it while watching streams. I just don't need to know that shit. Have interrupted a raid to get it on with the wife? Fuck yeah. Sometimes it needs to be done. Sometimes the quickie needs to be done. The game needs to be interrupted. The Hush 2 from 11 hours! 11 hours straight vibration.
Ranga already knows this, but I'll keep streams up while jorking it because I don't want to miss my friends' streams.
Sometimes you need to bust a nut, and you gotta be there to support the homies, too. Sometimes you can't choose between them, you must just do both. Fuck. No. It's okay if I die here, though. I'm literally... Home is right there. Ugh. I'm still scared, though. I'm still shits in. Low-key. Ow. Fuck you, actually. What shot me with a poison arrow? Not to the stream, just with the stream in the background. It's background noise. You have the most important job. Nah, it's okay. The raid can wait. Pent up, but the homies need you. Is my rice fucking grown out? Oh my god, this shit takes forever. So this is why men be chalking it every day? Neither confirm nor deny chalking mid anyone's streams. Hey, sometimes it just has to happen. What is wrong with me? Bad luck? What does that even mean? Would that be like if I was mining diamonds, I'd get like the least amount of diamonds possible? Get off of me! Okay, what else can I work on? What was I up to here? Defeat every type of illager as part of- I don't want to do a raid. Ugly fellas. 10 pillagers. Find a pillager outpost. Fuck being 14 and dealing with random boners. Literally, like, I do not envy the penis havers. Simply because of that. And also because of what we were talking about last night. Helps with the focus. Post-nut clarity does improve your performance in every category. Damn, I wish I had that. Chalk multiple times a day. 5 times the amount of kills than everyone else. Fuck yes, Pillow. You got a buff. A real life buff. I will confirm I get why. I mean, to get bad loot from chests? Rude? Imagine being early and starting as a preteen. Oh boy. Draw, can that hog? Where am I? Hello, Denial. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeah, we're having a conversation. Alright. I don't believe I do have post-nut clarity, no. Those things just love popping up during a presentation. About how we just randomly get turned on. So glad I'm not a penis haver, literally. Look, you're here today and not yesterday. I mean, every day is just as cursed as the one before, honestly. Is this what they dealt with? Yeah, no, that's... I do not envy that at all. Fuck all that. What do I... Oh, I gotta find a horse. I still haven't found a horse. Get spat at by a llama. How haven't I found a horse yet, actually? That seems odd. Sunken ship as well. Suspicious stew. Oh, I just... Okay. Make a suspicious stew, and then I finish that quest. Need a bowl... A bowl of mushrooms. What the fuck was it? Sus! It's the sus sand and the sus gravel! Okay, they do kind of look different. Why are there 5 bajillion suspicious stews? I still didn't fucking look at it. Where's my bowl? Oh, they all do different things? Give me my sussy stew. Do I have to drink it? No, I just got it from just having it. Yeah, I'd be pulled pork, yeah, I'd be cranking my hug too. Real. How's today? Today is going well. Thank you for asking. How's your day going? You had a boner? Gender euphoria for the wildest reason, cause boner. Negative stealth stat? Literally, Pepper. It's a skill issue! Didn't get that debuff. Yeah, me neither. Imagine getting debuffed by life. Sandpaper pussy. Wait, what? Don't know how to explain, but the equipment down there. Where did you get sandpaper pussy from? I am so confused, Maxine. I like sus sand and gravel. I think it's neat. I didn't even know it was a thing. Until I was like, how do I get a sniffer? And everyone was like, sussy sand and gravel. And I'm like, the fuck do you mean by sussy sand and gravel? Can't be quiet. I feel like I'm the only one. What, during sex or just in general, Pillow? Wanted to go on teachers for bottom growth. You can use topical tea for it? Wow, I did not know that was a thing. Less effective but can still be done? We're learning things. I'm gonna eat it. What did it do? Oh, I got a little jump boost. Hell yeah. Not for long, but a jump boost nonetheless. Okay, so I get that one. Why give... I'm gonna beat up your Nautilus. I'm gonna fuck your Nautilus shell in a second. Stick my penis in it. Okay, what is that? Coconut! Wait, I have oat. Do I not have oat? I have oat. Oh, guys, I don't have oat. Did I have oat seeds, maybe? The dreaded desert turnip? Does it not just grow on the ground? So many words, I don't know all this knowledge. You're gonna learn today. Okay, I think I'm pretty sure I had oat seeds. Yeah, oat seeds. I plant a oat. Oat. Just one, though. I don't think I need anything more than that. Guess I'll go to a desert and try and find a desert turnip. Okay, so they're in a certain biome, you'll never guess what. Is it not in the desert? Is it not it? Fuck you mean, It is indeed the desert. Okay. You had me worried for a second there. I was like, I'm gonna go to a desert and be confused as to why I can't find a fucking desert turnip, and it's gonna be because they don't spawn in the desert. For some fucking reason. Those give different effects in the stew. Yeah, no, someone did tell me that. Thank you for letting me know, though. Put the flour in there. Put onion. Put the onion away. Put, the slime ball away. And that. I don't think I need all of these mushrooms. I didn't need them to begin with. I have so many. There's so many. Oopsie. Oh well. All my hat bags. Pillage ahead. Oh, I've got 2 of them now. Let's go. Anything else I need to get rid of? I'm gonna keep the cod with me just in case. Just in case I run out of bread or some shit. Okay, so I guess we're going exploring, trying to find foods of the wild. Do the weirdest achievement of using a map while riding a giraffe and then kill it. Okay, I guess I'm bringing a map. Wait, do I have a map with me? I think I found a map. It's paper. Thought I had an empty map. I guess I'll bring that with me, just in case I find a giraffe. Get used to boner control! Do you like telekinesis the dick and tell it to shrink? The tip slip? I don't even want to ask. Hello, Gum! Of course I don't have a map on me. Why would I need a map on me when I have this mod? Who needs maps when there's a mod for it? This boner control thing gotta be a myth. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm gonna put... Actually, no. I'm gonna compost the wheat seed. I'm so scared that I'm gonna need these Nautilus shells for something, so I'm just gonna fucking put it there. I haven't checked to see whether I need it for anything. I'm scared! Okay, nature's compass. What's usually there? What tool do I usually have there? A shovel? I think I have a shovel at the moment. Fuck shovels, man. Okay, let's find a desert. There's multiple deserts. Is there a special desert? Sometimes a waistband tuck just don't cut it. Not the belly button conversation again, please. Has Henry never- No, he's never told me about tip slip. Fold it up or down and it hides it better. Either desert? Okay. Let's go. Why is it 8,000 blocks away? Are you coming on my cheeks right now? Yeah, you know how we were talking about biome diversity? Where the fuck's my boat? Did I leave it behind? Oh no, here it is. Got it. Fingers use anywhere else. Okay, your toes. I'll finger between your toes. That does sound like it hurts, doesn't it, Pepper? Okay, I guess I'm going on a boat. I'm gonna fucking die out there. I can feel it in my ass. Sometimes I hate my curiosity because I look at a guy and be like, I wonder how big his pee-pee is. If permanent damage doesn't always move the way you need it to. That makes sense. The hell says, are you coming on my cheeks? Me now. It's just the first thing that came into my head. Sue me. Try and stop me from If someone stuck their tongue in my belly button, I think I would punch them in the face. We would no longer be having a good time. Do I go like... I'll go like around this way. Because I don't think... no, I'll just do a straight shot.
For some reason the only sexual thought I ever remember having as a teen was looking at my church teacher's pants and wondering how big his dick was. He was Canadian and wore socks and sandals.
Not the socks and sandals! You were wondering about the pee-pee size of a dude that wore socks and sandals? Bestie! Oh my god! Bit rich bougie, but really nice underwear with a pouch for your nut. Pouch for the nuts! Helps with control, because when you... It's like a grove, so it never straight out but curves along the lining. Damn. So you just gotta have the bougie underwear, and then you can hide your boners. Pro tip. Tip. Oh, I'm so sorry, sheep. I did not mean to do that. I'm trying to exist. Let me sleep. Thank you. He was 6'5"? Okay, immediately forgiven. Immediately forgiven. I'll hear you out now. You're not currently coming on my cheeks? Damn. Do the bougie underwear have special reinforced pouches? Can behave fairly differently, some, and not bend at all. That shit is hard to tuck, I can imagine. And probably painful as well. That sounds kind of painful. Same thing with a teacher I had, but he always wore t-shirts and pants, so you can see, oh, that's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. I got the equipment! Underwear pouch. He was a primary... That's so nasty.
Pro tip to hide boners: wear track pants and buy a 12-inch horse dildo, and put said dildo down one leg of your pants. No one will notice your boner.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're certainly not wrong. Why have a ballroom with no balls? Anna from Frozen! Wonderful. I love it. This is not the pin of shame, this is the pin of pride. Get that shit off my screen. Thank you. Yeah, you cannot convince me that that teacher did not know that everything was visible. Which is disgusting! Oh. I hate it here. This is why I carry dirt on me. Eh. Onwards! Shut the fuck up! What's up, Sable? I mean, again, she not wrong. Cocoa nuts! I need cocoa nuts. I also think I was looking. Yeah, shoot down a coconut with a projectile. Will that still work? Even though I'm not up to that. I'm pretty sure it does. Tropical Blast! And then when I get to it, it'll be done. Hell yeah, is ticked off. I in fact do have the coconut. Do I have to eat it? Do I have to eat it? Oh. I like that they get completed even if it's not unlocked. I do like that. Hello there, Dark Phoenix. How are you doing? I'm doing good today. Welcome me in. Timeout corner! Them cocoa nuts just bursted, literally. Literally busting a nut. I wanna... Why you not work, though? I in fact have obtained the nut. I have the nut. Let me grab another one. What about a baby one? Nut slice. What, do I have to slice open the nut? Love drinking some busted nuts! Of how quickly you've become my favorite oh, Tani, that's so sweet! I'm just chilling here, you're like, you're my favorite. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Is it unlocked? Yeah. Oh, wait. Huh? Yeah, no. No, it should be. Why is that still grayed out? I'm scared, help! Me too! Freshly cut coconut in Fiji is hella good, though. I don't think I've ever had, like, I've tried, like, fresh coconut water. Wasn't a fan, but I don't think I've had, like, the flesh. There it is! The post-nut clarity! Click, check dependencies. Wait, how do I... Where's the... What's a... How do I check a dependency? There should be a right-click option. There should be a right-click option or something to check what it requires. Right-click it on it. Only on edit mode? Bruh. Is cutting off balls and cock, then using a drill to widen the hole? What, Maxine? Jackhammer or no deal? Talking about coconuts today in the car, and now we're talking about coconuts again. Look at us go. With the biomes? I guess we can explore some biomes. What haven't I found? Okay, Aspen Forest. I need to find the desert anyway, so I will continue on to the desert. And we'll see what happens. No, it's okay. We're finding all the bugs now so that we can hopefully fix them up. You can only find the bugs if someone plays through it, so consider me playing through it. Oh my god, there's an elephant over there! Are they dangerous? Will the elephant beat me up? Okay, that... The way he was looking at me, scary as shit. That's terrifying. Nah, get away from me. I am so scared. I'm good. They're friendly? They friend? You can ride them? I'm eating first. I'm preparing to kill the fuck out of it if it attacks me. What do they drop? What if they drop, like, leather or something? Hey, big guy. Oh my god. Never mind. I don't want to try and fight them. That's a lot of health. How do I ride them? Can you ride them? To be infuriates me. Such vitriol actually concerning to me. I wish I could just copy people's saves and just use them. Is that when figuring out modding? Keep getting Malibu ads about not swimming while drunk. I mean, you can have a beverage and swim, but maybe not while you're completely drunk. I'm not gonna kill them! They're just big friendly giants! They're friend. Thank you for the hydrate, Makala. I need it. Oh, they trumpet! I love them. Swimming drunk, then having drunk pool sex. Real. Okay. On we go. What the fuck is this? Is this a termite mound? That's what it looks like. It is! It's a termite mound. Are there actual termites in it? Imagine I break it and just a swarm of termites come out and eat my ass. Oh! Oh, wait, that's exactly what's gonna happen! What are you gonna fucking do, huh? You've got half a heart. I, like, foreshadowed that. Give them apples? Oh, wait, you're making a mod pack, but you have to manually be there. Oh, Lord, Daniel, that's pain. I don't have any apples on me. Do acacia trees drop apples? I don't think they do. I think isn't it only oak trees? I'll have to come back with an apple at some point. Termites will crawl into your ass and make a new mound! Exactly! Mound! You're a frickin' mound. Oh, is that another wait. Oh no, that village. Oh, maybe they have apples. Why are we freezing? Why are we lag? None of that. The Clips leaderboard? A Clips leaderboard? Like a leaderboard for people that take, like, people that take the most clips? New chunks, PC complain, PC shit self, oak, dark oak, and birch. Okay. I'm kind of hoping... Oh, I completed a task! I found a savannah village. Let's fucking go. Okay, we got tomato seeds. Another saddle. I'll take it. Mareep! That's one of Henry's favorites. Henry loves a Mareep. Chests? Wait, you can put chests on elephants and they carry them around for you? Put saddles on elephants and give them chests. Fuck yes! I feel like I should take the bookshelves, but I'm not going to right now. That's for later. I've already got a brewing stand, so I don't need to steal that one. I am going to take this, though. Sorry. Sorry, friends. It's mine now. Fuck the Nautilus shell! I will eat your Nautilus shell. Why are they everywhere? Yeah, I'm gonna ring the bell. Let me ring it. Anyway. When I made my mod, made sure to make that shit run at 120 FPS with shaders. Fuck yeah. I can run this with shaders if I'm not streaming at the same time and also running VTube Studio. Because VTube Studio takes priority, so Minecraft just kind of shits and pisses all over the place. Bulby! Bulbasaur. I won't take the seeds. I don't need the seeds. When she Nautilus on my shell till I conduit? Oh! I'm so sorry. I promise I'm an adult. You can have my boobs. I have an F cup. Oh, can I borrow some? Just like a little bit. I don't need a lot more, just a little more. Bread. Hey look, I found more maps. I don't think I need the sticks, but I'm gonna take them anyway. I should sleep here just in case I need to respawn. Because I died. Can I borrow one of y'all's beds real quick? I just need to take a fat nap. I'm on a big journey. Get the fuck out. An M cup? Okay, no thank you. I don't need that much. Definitely don't need that much. Achievement was so ADHD. Oh look, it dings! Literally. They knew they had to make an achievement for it because they knew people were just gonna ring the bell. They knew it. Oh my god, where are all my coins? I'm gonna shit. Did I not change it? Also used for chat peak. You're a fucking chat peak. Finding there. That's already set to something. That one. Literally, not enough keys on the damn keyboard. I'm just trying to exist. Okay. Oh, I don't have my fucking coins with me. I am stupid. There's my strawberries! I found them! I knew I had them. Okay, well, I guess we're putting strawberries in there then. A brisk wind push Ranger over. Okay, I'm a little more sturdy than that, Maxine. I'll take Sables too for Mega Boob! Mega Boob. Thank god I quit late food tubing so I can run games! You think I'm cool? I'm glad you think I'm cool. Thank you. I think you're cool too. I like VTubing because I like being a cute little anime girl. It's all I ever wanted. Time for more mouse buttons. I mean, I do have buttons on my mouse, but like, only 2 of them. I'm gonna put that there. Put the buckets away. Put that away. Mareep. Bulbasaur. I'm gonna keep the waystone there just in case. If I need the furnace and crafting table, I will take them out. Dirt can stay there. Coconuts can go. I don't even need that. But it can go too. Yeah, we good. Inventory organization who? Hello, Rita. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. Yeah, Gaycraft. It's a mod pack. It has quests. Look at all these quests. That's what I'm currently working on. You okay? Hell yeah. VTube Studio is a tank, literally. If I was funny more than once a day, I would totally be VTubing. I mean, Pillow, look at me. I'm not that funny, and here I am. I just say whatever pops into my head, and everyone's just like, what the fuck, Ranger? It's all you need to do, literally. That's the cheat code. Jumbo rabbit? Okay, how big are we talking? I think I'm lost. Damn, that's a pretty big rabbit. Is this Jumbo Rabbit? Seems pretty average to me. Okay, but I make myself laugh, so that's the important part. Mice with a total of 16 programmable buttons? That's too many. I would lose track. Chuck a Stream Deck XL in there too? That's so many buttons. I do need a Stream Deck though. If anyone's feeling particularly generous, I do have one linked on my throne if anyone wants to contribute to it. Shameless throne plug. Hey man, size doesn't matter. You're right, you're right. I have a mini question. What made me go into VTubing? Post a face cam or no cam at all? The day VTube was kind of not there yet, so life of me, I don't know, making VTube model with a darker skin color would be impossible. Really? I'm too black for this, deadass! To answer your question as to why I went into this, I think it partially a little bit stems from insecurity and people not wanting to perceive what I look like before they see my personality. Because some people will judge you too harshly on what you look like.
I'm a head to bed. Nini degenerates.
Okay, Maxie, get you a good sleep. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm, you know, I don't fit what people would say is conventionally attractive. I'm not extremely unattractive, but I'm not the beauty standard. So I didn't want that to be what people saw first. And another reason is that I have too many facial expressions, and sometimes I've got a bit of resting bitch face, and being able to have an avatar kind of hides the resting bitch face a little bit, because otherwise I don't look very approachable. If I'm just relaxing, if my face is relaxed, I do not look very approachable. I'm not gonna lie. So being able to have an avatar means that, you know, I don't have to worry about that. But most of the reason that I went into it is because I love the idea of being a little anime cat girl. I love the idea of being able to customize something, especially for me, that is uniquely me, that I get to make look however I want to make it look. That's the main reason that I went into this. And because I saw so many other VTubers and I'm like, oh my god, they're so pretty. I want to be that. I want to do that. I just think it's fucking neat. If I start VTubing, it would be all ADHD stims and belly buttons. I mean, without the belly buttons, ADHD stims is what happens here. Real. For real, for real, on God. You love your Stream Deck? I really need one. I really want one so bad. I just don't have the money for it. Many artists who draw black VTubers. Yeah, there's many of artists that will do people of color VTubers. I've seen so many, and they're all gorgeous. A few black VTubers who used white models because artists couldn't draw black feet. Get the fuck out of here. Couldn't draw black features. Henry saw something approachable. Yeah, he did. Apparently, I had him awestruck when he first saw me, which I was like, I think you need to get some glasses. You were a white VTuber for a while? Yeah, see that like, I obviously don't have the same experience. Also, thank you so much for the follow, Daniel. But I can imagine it feels shitty having to have an avatar that doesn't represent you in any way. So I understand why that wasn't something that you enjoyed. Autism Stims is my mimble! Stimble! Stream Deck is worth it. Yeah, I really want one. Especially for when I debut my new model, which hopefully will be before mid this year. I kind of do want one before then, and if I have to put some extra money towards it, then I gotta put some extra money towards it. Boob window, belly button up close. Belly button. Krong! Krong! How tiny it was. It fits in your palm. The Stream Deck. See you with my mind's eye. I think your personality
Wanda is a
shines through. Ah,
certified
thank you,
cutie.
Daniel. Thank you so much. But yeah, I want people to be able to sort of see my personality before they, like, see me. You know? Because people are too quick to judge based off of appearances. And I have always hated that my whole life. First time I was reading your about section, I got a question. Who and how did you get... Do you mean... Broid for Harry? Welcome in, Disguised Blunder. Great first chat message, actually. So the story behind that is that there's not that many nicknames for the name Henry. Okay, like, and all the ones that you think of immediately, like Henny, or there's Nenry as well, which his granddad calls him, were all taken by his family. And I wanted something that was unique to me, that was my personal nickname for Henry. And somehow I came up with Hemorrhoid. And that's just... It's just how it is now. And whenever people hear me call him that, they're like, what the fuck? And I kind of love it. It brings me joy. Does that answer your question? Heineken! Listen, I tried to do something cute first. Because this was like when we were sort of first together. I tried to do something cute first by, like, having a nickname for him that, like, combined his name and a Pokemon that he liked. Beware the Fish Girl. I will. Thank you. But then I just landed on Hemorrhoid, and I thought that was so much funnier. You're a wizard, Harry? But then your first time chat at Sable's yesterday. Wait, what was your first time chat, Pillow? Just assume he making that ass sore? No, he is a pain in the ass, but not in that way. You spelled it wrong. No, it's spelled like that because it's a nickname. It's not supposed to be Hemorrhoid. It's just Hemorrhoid. You're following Aussies a lot, so you know what to expect. Well, welcome in, Blunder. I hope you enjoy your time here. If you can't tell already, it's kind of cursed, so I hope you like cursed streams, because that's what this is! Henny Poo! I think someone in his family does call him that, and I wanted it to be mine, you know? I wanted my own special nickname for him. Can check everyone's first time child boy. It's not truly cuddling unless someone's life is at risk. What does that mean? What? Can I have an explanation? Better than the Frozen joke? Nah, I like the Frozen joke. That's peak. It's not really cuddling unless he's hard. That's true. That's true. You didn't clock in that I was Australian? Is the accent not obvious enough? No, I feel like I don't have the really thick Aussie accent. It's kind of just there. Just certain words. Dingus was extremely cursed, the emote. I love that. I love Dingus, for real, and the stupid cursed emote. You just hang out with a lot of Aussies, that is completely fair. You've become desensitized to the accent. Ugh. My face hurts. My cheeks hurt from smiling. Because y'all are just bringing me so much joy. I also had such a long chat history, which I wonder what... You should be able to sort it by date, honestly. To, like, make stuff like that easier. Because sometimes you just need to know what your first chat message was. You one of those Vegemite lovers? I'm actually not. I'm a sinful Australian and I do not like Vegemite that much. I think it's kind of horrid. Can barely speak American English, so I can't ever read an accent. It's okay, English is hard. Words hard. Apparently navigating a boat is also really fucking hard. Give me my boat back. The accent is so Central Australian. Like, not beach bogan, but not city Oz. Like my accent. The only accents I've ever been at, like, different, like, accents from Australia I've been able to identify are either, like, the bogan accent or, like... Ow, you fuck. I didn't touch you! Probably has a baby or something. Get off of me. I thought the... Aww. Chad, I just orphaned a child. Am I a shit person? Sorry, little fella. It's okay. You can manage on your own. I believe in you. He's so cute. Look at his giant fucking nose. I love him. Bear Batman! McCullers was, oh my god, I love your voice. I do remember that. Orphaned, yeah. Sometimes it just happens. He's literally just gonna, is he just gonna stand there where his mum died? Don't make me fucking depressed. I'm leaving. He felt the same. Not this again! Okay, at least I'm not gonna drop it from the build height. I'm gonna let him live his life. What was I saying before? Yeah, with accents, like Aussie accents, I only know the bogan accent or like the really typical like Struth mate Australian accent. Because for some reason, my dad's side of the family, not my dad specifically, he only speaks like that if he's around his family. But his brother speaks like that all the time. It's kind of great. So I should edit that clip so the Dark Souls you died text shows up, but it just says orphaned. Can I write that down? Thank you for giving me editing ideas. What do you mean someone should edit that clip? That someone is me. I'm the editor. Perfect. Keep an eye out for it. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe! The life of an editor. I'm not a good editor by any stretch of the imagination, but no one else is gonna fucking do it, so I'm gonna do it. To be fair, I have Henry, which he does edit videos, so he knows a fair bit, so he helps me learn how to do it, but I'm still not very good. Where's the YouTube? You only see TikTok? I think I have a command. Yeah, there we go. It would mean the world to me if y'all would go subscribe to my YouTube. I'm uploading my VODs there now as well, so if anyone ever misses a VOD or wants to go back and watch a VOD, they're all there. Well, almost all there. I need to do like the last week's worth. They take fucking ever to download to my computer and then upload to YouTube, so I do them slowly. You're a sub? Yeah, Pepper! It's subbed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But the ability to be on a computer, you could do it. What, edit the clip? Nah, it's all good. I got it. I learn more every day when it comes to editing. What do I use to edit? So I mostly use CapCut because I find that like the preset effects are easier than going into Premiere Pro and doing them myself. But I do occasionally use Premiere Pro as well because it's what Henry knows. Usually I'll use Premiere Pro specifically to cut up longer videos into shorter videos. Like to just cut it up into clips to edit into a long form video in CapCut. Because for clipping up, like cutting up videos in CapCut is so fucking painful. For some, like it doesn't, when you cut a clip and like you can't, can I speak words? Fuck off. In Premiere Pro, you can cut the clip and then you can shift delete what was before the clip and it will get rid of the space. In CapCut, I can't do that. So when I need to cut up a video into shorter pieces, I will always do Premiere Pro because I like that feature. Use DaVinci. I've heard good things about DaVinci. I've considered giving it a go. You followed me days ago because of clips? Hell yeah! Thank you so much. I appreciate it. When someone says that to me, I put on a hat and mustache and come back on screen. Hey guys, it's me, the editor he hires, literally. When you're an indie streamer or indie VTuber, like a small streamer, you are the editor because you haven't got the money to pay someone else to do it. You are everything. You're the manager, you're the editor, you're the entertainer, you're everything. DaVinci! Never carry a microwave home. I wasn't planning on it. Those shits are heavy. Your mummy? Yep. Yep, I'm mummy. I guess I am now. Someone pay me to make my own edits. I need money. Real. I will never get over how upset, like, I'll never get over the fact that TikTok doesn't have Creator Fund in Australia. I am so salty about it. I'm so mad about it. Because initially I was just uploading to TikTok because I prefer doing short form content because it doesn't take me literally hours. But there's not really any monetization in TikTok for Australia. So I was like, I guess I'll start doing YouTube Shorts as well. Because that I can get monetized in the future. The Indian in me forces me to use never before heard of editing softwares! Ever heard of VSDC? No, I have not. Vagina shit dick cock. Thank you, Sable. Neither did I, but I had no choice. I just get someone else to carry it for me. I get Henry to carry the microwave. I ain't carrying no microwave. Fuck that. How am I getting around this? Why? Okay, no. No, we're good. I hiccuped. We're good. We're good. We figured it out. It's a free video editor? Fuck yeah. I love free video editors. That's why I use CapCut, because like it's free, and then I really like the preset effects because it means that I don't have to do it myself. I can just throw a filter on it and put the shake effect on it, and it make me look angry. It display anginess. I decided to just randomly buy it. You had to carry it home. How far did you have to carry it? In the wild. Crawling into bed, guy, actually right like you've been telling yourself you would all day, you lurky, okie dokie, Sable. Thank you for that lurky. Good luck with the writing. 500 meters? What the fuck? It's not that far really, but when you're carrying something heavy, that's far. I don't want to carry something that heavy for 500 meters, that's for sure. Lil Ranger, get the Angie? Yeah, that's why my name's Ranger Wrath, because I get wrathful sometimes. It comes in the territory of being a Ranger in the first place. We have short fuses. You look like a bobblehead, thank you. I'm actually a Funko Pop. Thank you very much. Could you turn a Funko Pop into a bobblehead if you, like, ripped its head off and put a spring in there? Kind of want to do that now. She'll know about recording on Hypercam 2 and editing and VLC? Nothing. I know zero. Just sometimes... I'm not angry all the time. I'm not wrathful all the time. I'm not wrathful right now. You can? Fuck yeah, I'm turning my Funko Pops into bobbleheads. I'm actually not. I'm too scared to do that. Only half Ranger had the hair, it was brownish blonde. My beard is orange, so oh my god, you're like Henry! Henry's got an orange beard as well. He's got brown hair, but an orange beard. Those Furby dolls with just Barbie body. No, I want to be a long Furby. I want to be a long Furby. That's something I was supposed to try and find. I want a special meme model that's just me as a long Furby. Because I think those things are great. They are so cursed and I love them. All Furbies need to burn. I had one of the old ones when I was younger, and it would randomly just talk in the middle of the night. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's my friend, it's sentient. I wasn't freaked out by it, I was like, oh, it's talking to me, that's so cute. I have one of the newer gen ones somewhere as well. That had like an iPad app or something. That you could like use to play with it, which I thought was super fucking cool. The Funko head actually has a stem? Bro's a plant. Oh, those Furby dolls were just the Barbie body. Devil's Spawn, and they're cute! I love them! I'm a Furby enjoyer. Sell the new ones at work and I want to set them on fire! I just love the idea of needing to look after something. I think that's why I like Furbies so much, because I had to look after it. It was the baby. I have to look after the baby. Oh my god. Automod held looked gingers for race, ethnicity, or religion reasons. Help? Automod, are you okay? Are you good? Just used OBS and DaVinci to save clips of gameplay for a long time, but now you have game DVR with GeForce. It's great for short clips. Hell yeah. I mean, I have SteelSeries, which does make clips, but they were really, like, it was making clips automatically, and it was filling up my, space on, like, my drive space, so I had to stop it from doing that. I think I can do it manually. I don't know how. I forgot. But I just go through my streams, or I have a couple of really good clippers in chat as well that'll clip the good moments so that I don't have to go through it myself. Sisters had Furbies like that little guy would sing at night. Aww. Dad hid my Furby from me because he hated it. Everyone's scared of the Furbies, for real. My little brother and his kids are Rangers, and when I shave my head, I look ginger for a hot second. You're one of them, Jorbs. One of us. One of us. One of us. So a TikTok where they dressed up those Boston robot dogs in a Furby outfit? Fuck yes. Look after something, get a I loved my Tamagotchi. I loved my Tamagotchi. Don't even speak to me about Tamagotchis. I loved that thing. Furbies are like Sloppy from Goosebumps, never know when they come alive! Look like the textbook definition of a Nendoroid. What is a Nendoroid? What is making that noise? It's a deer. I was scared. Slappy! Slappy from Goosebumps. I don't know anything about Goosebumps. It was not a series that I read as a kid. Manager once made a coworker apologize to me because she called a stealing customer over our headsets. I think some people take offense with the term ranger. I personally don't, obviously. I think it's just silly and funny. Should 100% look it up? I'm gonna look it up. Looking it up right now. Mendaloid. No, I spelled it wrong. Oh, the little anime figurines! I have seen those before. They're cute. I'll take that as a compliment. I love them. They're adorable. Are you guys... Will you guys still love me if if I'm not built like this anymore? Will you guys still like me? Because I'm gonna be honest, I have a new model in the works, and it's not a chibi. I'm not gonna look like this anymore. I'm not gonna be short with a big head. Cause I wanna be a big girl. I wanna be a real girl. I won't be a real girl, but I won't be short with my big head. I will still have this model on a toggle though, so I will still be able to be redeemed in this form. She's not going away forever. Would you literally make that exact pose with your... Wish you were a transformer. I'm sorry that I'm not a transformer. Ranger merch when? When I have the money to get merch. I'm not a cool kid and my scruffy beard is dark. You are a cool kid, Jorbs. Lies. Only this Rangoid gum, I'll cry. Does it have a belly button? I will make sure to tell my model mama to give her a belly button. Just for you, Pillow. Just for you. Still be cute as fuck, potentially hot. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure that my model mama makes me hot as fuck. I'm gonna turn from this cute little thing into mummy. I'm literally gonna be mummy. Only accept the Funko Pop. I will have the Funko Pop redeem especially for you, Gum. Especially for you. Okay, Pinocchio! Why am I Pinocchio? Muscly with a small head. Not a small head, just a, average-sized head. Just the normal anime head. Getting those milkers? You bet. You bet. There's gonna be some bazoinga loingers. I am making sure of that. Got a hole in outfit just for belly button. No, that's why I got a crop top. Bahonkadoongas. You'll do them justice. Yeah, Zeph is gonna be my rigger, so he's gonna be the one that gives all the jiggle physics. You have him to thank for this one's jiggle physics, but you'll also have him to thank for the next model's jiggle physics as well. I'm suddenly very thirsty. You know what? Me too. I'm already mummy, but I can be even more mummy, you know? I'm gonna have that mummy build. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Maximum jiggle. I take my models only with maximum jiggle. I require it. Craving for milk! Mummy's milk. Don't get us back. Mikala, you don't understand. You haven't been here long enough to understand how many times I've gone on a breastfeeding tangent. There are at least 3 clips of me talking about breastfeeding. I'm sure there will be more in the future. Sometimes you're just gonna talk about titty milk for a bit. I will not apologize. There is a clip from a while ago where I was on that tangent and I said something so cursed, and then immediately someone followed, and I was like, good to know. Good to know that's what you're into. I'm glad. I want to be breastfed. Henry, I've got to breastfeed chat again. Oh my god. Warn all partners that I'll absolutely be trying the milk. I'm trying my own milk. Okay, I don't actually know whether I'm ever gonna have kids, but like, if I do, I gotta give it at least one try. Oh my god, there's a baby out here. Compare titty milk to other kinds of milk. Can confirm titty milk is the best. It's okay, I'm alive. Titty milk saved us. I'm so glad to know that it's better than regular milk, because I hate regular milk, so I'm just hoping that titty milk is like something like miracle milk. Well, now I have to try. What are you asking, Pillow, to offer some milk? Start lactating right now. Okay, Google, how do I make myself lactate? Oh my god, she's actually listening.
This is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnosis, consult a professional. It's important to note that inducing lactation without being pregnant or having given birth is a complex process that requires dedication, patience, and often medical guidance. Here's a breakdown of the general steps involved. 1. Medical consultation. Consult your doctor. It's crucial to discuss your goals with a healthcare professional. They can assess your medical
thank you!
explain the process, and determine if inducing lactation is right for you. Medications. In some cases, your doctor might prescribe medications to mimic the hormonal changes of pregnancy, which can help stimulate milk production. 2. Breast stimulation. Frequent pumping.
This is so long! Oh my god, I'm not letting it read all that out. My Google never listens to me. Ever. So the fact that it heard me and actually answered my question is perfect. It's like we're all going to the doctor. Go to the doctor, hey doc, can I have some medication that'll make me lactate? Why? Science. Bro, made a whole PDF, literally, it was an essay. There were like 5 steps, I was like, hold on. Why do you sound like a clown, Makala? No, you don't. There's no clown in here. The only clown here is me. I can't fucking believe that it actually answered the question. Fun fact, guys can actually lactate if they take those meds. How does one get their hands on those meds without going to a doctor and explaining that the reason that I want to lactate is so that I can drink it? Answered the priority ones. It was like, this is an important question. It is so hard. What are you rubbing in? The titty? Rubbing in the milk? Okay, but imagine how good it would be for you to drink human milk. Like, imagine the health benefits. What if
My cousin went on a medication and a side effect was she could start lactating, and she did.
Did she drink it? Sorry. But like, imagine the health benefits. I want to lactate so that I can get those health benefits, you know, feel me? Those good enzymes and shit. Sometimes it requires a massage. Massage the titty. Love the titty. Massage the titty. Milk the titty. We always end up here. We always come full circle eventually. The fate of the world rests on lactating breasts. Exactly! Like, what if we just started milking ourselves and then we wouldn't have to milk cows anymore? There's so many people that are lactose intolerant. What if we just sold human milk? If I could lactate, I would sell my milk. You lactose intolerant and you need some milk? I got you, fam. I care about the enzymes, I want the suck! Those tits look heavy, need me to carry them for you?
Who's lacking toes? And why are they in the toilet?
I have no response to that. Zero, nothing. That's not how it works. It fucking is now! In my fantasy world, we all sell our milk. Person who milked the first cow, literally, why did someone do that? An actual conversation I've had. Hey, do you mind massaging my boob? It feels better when you do it. You didn't even need to finish the sentence! I'm buying it all! How many quotes are there gonna be about titty milk? For an adult, drinking a lot of breast milk's kind of bad because they would need to screen you, the milk giver. They would need to screen me. I guess they gotta make sure that my milk is, like, top tier, right? That it's healthy milk? That I'm not doing any substances? I mean, I don't drink alcohol. I don't eat the best, but I don't drink alcohol. I do take antidepressants, though, which I think is bad for the titty milk. Titty milk or sad? Which one? Controlling my diet? That's boring, though. I like food. Citrus Rega, is it strawberry milk? No, it's orange milk. Mango milk. Mandarin milk. Fruit milks, aside from strawberry milk, don't sound that good to me. Like, I saw a pineapple milk at the shops once, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. I don't really want that. Mango, you won me over, that's all it took. Man, I fucking love mangoes. I like stimulating. Roblox. Actually, I don't need to go in that now. I've already got the quest for it. Can't be sad if you have titty milk, you're so right. Jaffa milk! Real. What does that one mean? Can I love you without having... Wait, Sable, do you not remember the can I love you without having to smell your farts? It had something to do with Maxine. There's a clip of it. I edited it the other day. There is a clip of it. I can't remember why she said that, but apparently smelling farts is a bonding experience. And I was like, can I love you without having to smell your farts? I think it was a very valid quote. Throw my PhD out the window for mango milk! Strawberry milk and not cow milk, you know what I mean? Another fact about titty milk, you do need to control your diet because, like other human fluids, what you eat determines the taste. Man! Maybe that would be enough to get me to diet. Or diet properly. Is drinking my own titty milk and making it taste the best it can possibly be. Banana milk? Okay, banana milk is delicious. That's one of the fruit milks that I can get behind. There was one that I tried. It wasn't a fruit milk, it was like...
I will grab the 1 liter carton of milk and chug it all in one go, and no one except God himself with his fucking man boob breast on my face can stop me.
I know so many people that, like, enjoy doing that. I just don't like regular cow's milk. I think it tastes nasty. Oh my god, there's a panda! Wait, I should go over here and mark this spot so I know where to find pandas if I need to find one. Oh, I hiccuped. One of the milks that I've had before was, like, red skin milk. It was kind of nasty. I was not a fan. Not gonna lie, straight up was not a fan. What the fuck? This is the extent of the bamboo
squishy
jungle.
man boobs. Like big bucks and they all squishy and jiggle hot boob.
Man boob. Agree. Rega has Jaffa flavored titty milk. Confirm it's canon. I wondered if Takimura would be a phenomenal invention in the Harry Potter. Oh, Blunder. What are you thinking about there? A diet of strawberry yogurt and peanut butter sandwiches makes your milk taste very good. I feel like I could live on that. That sounds pretty good. Panda. Just in case. I mean, there is a panda here, but I don't know what to do with it right now, and it's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm doing right now. Don't hate normal milk, but you just rather have coffee? Real. Coffee slaps. So that gif of Kurt Angle drenched in milk!
If Gonga lactated, it'd taste like Dookie because she's constantly eating shit in Minecraft.
I'm deleting my channel. Titty milk coffee? That's what I'm talking about! Stream is delayed for you right now. Have you given refreshing a go? I know that's usually for people's, like, first go-to, but just making sure if you've given refreshing a go. Because sometimes that resets it. You're a milk expert! Had to be said. Hey, I haven't died this stream, have I? I found the desert! Yippee! Great blocky reef. I haven't eaten shit this stream. What is happening? Give me back my fucking... Oh, it was lagging. Kitty! I don't have any of the ancient cod that I need for the kitty. Cactusy. Is that cake? Seed cake! No thank you. I'm not a bird. I don't want seed. Well, depends on the kind of seed, if you know what I mean. I'm kidding. I am being picky! Okay, I'm pretty sure there is a quest that has something... that has something to do with a camel. I remember seeing it. I'm not kidding! Put seed in my mouth! Cactusy sounds painful, just remove the spines. Twitch Mobile is always so slow. Twitch Mobile sucks ass. This is very known. Processed food. 2-minute noodle! Kitty! Kitty! I don't know where the camel thing is, but I know where the desert is now. This may sound gross, but sometimes when women lactate, it's very uncommon. There's a little internal bleeding? Comes out looking like strawberry- No! The blood is clean, oh no! Coconut is a seed. That's a big seed. You've been on Twitch on mobile this whole time? I know a lot of people do watch on mobile, which is why it baffles me that they don't, like, do anything to improve the mobile app, because there's so many people that use it. I'm taking that. Thank you. Smoking hot, just like me. Actually, maybe I should keep that there. Hold on. Because I am a very, very long way away from my house. Hold on. Yeah, no, that could stay here. That way I don't have to boat all the way back because it was a long way. Big seed. Have to watch on mobile because too bad bees. Yeah, that's true. Don't want to watch on PC and we're talking about titty milk and belly buttons and the wife walks in. Yeah, that would be something to explain. If anything is worse than it was a year ago, that's disgusting. Why is the word cooch held for misogyny? Her name is Squirt Girl and she has water powers, but it only comes out of her cooch. What do you mean? What do you mean worst? Don't you mean best? Just makes it easier to not explain. Yeah, no, I get you. Why are you talking about belly buttons and drinking titty milk? It's like me having to explain to Henry why we have these conversations in the first place. I don't fucking know. They just happen. Sometimes shit happens. I think I already have a Relor one. I found rice! Hell yeah. Can't wait to see Amazon buy TikTok. No! The rich billionaire 69ing on the moon. I don't want anyone to buy TikTok. I don't, like... Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Shit do be happening a lot. Yeah. Real. Did I go in all these houses? I think I did. What is that? Oh, it's a prickly pear! Okay, I think I've gone in all the houses. I sleep. I steal someone's bed. Sorry, this is mine now, move. Has it come to activate it so as soon as a vibrator attached to it? Damn, you really put some thought into this, Pancake. Also, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome in. Unhinged people create unhinged situations. You right. You right. Okay, now... To find these... desert turnips... Am I actually- Oh, Kipty! Am I actually- Sable, am I actually gonna cry trying to find these desert turnips? Are they actually that hard to find? Talking about titty milk today and not broken dicks? Definitely a preferable conversation topic. Tell her to control her powers because she needs to constantly edge! I have an oral fixation, so if I had a girlfriend, I always have titty in the mouth! Good mouth feel. Back to work. Thank you for hanging out, Daniel, and having a chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the luck. Good luck with work. Find turnip-related things on the surface and then figure it out from there. Okay. Turnip-related things. I love turnip-related things. Tortoise! Oh, he hide. Yim hide. Are they rare? Beach bush. Am I at a beach or a desert? If I were a desert turnip, where would I be? Other than in the desert. Turnip boy commits tax fraud! That's where all the turnips are, they're committing tax fraud. I just look at all the plants. Tortoise, like it's a French word, so I say tortoise. Cute little tortoise. I say tortoise because I think it sounds funny. I do know the game. I do know the game. I haven't played it, but I do know of it. But as I'm saying, maybe that's where all the turnips are. They're committing tax fraud. That's why they're not here. Because they certainly ain't fucking here. Just lots of cacti. Bzzzt. Does she make a constant buzzing noise, Pancake? What's her superhero name? Did you say it already? Did you say Squirt Girl? Her name is Squirt Girl, yeah. Everyone thinks she, like, shoots people with, like, a water gun. No. Water gun, but in the pants. Stealth debuff, literally. No, people would just think it was like a fly or something, or a bee. They'd be like, oh my god, that buzzing is so annoying. I wish that fly would go away, and then they get squirted on. Is this also a desert? Is Badlands considered desert as well, or is it not? It looks like there's more desert over there, actually. Oh my god, he's a little guy! No friend! He's so cute. I pet him. He's so cute. Pat, pat. I love him. I'm gonna go across the ocean because I think there's more desert over there. Limestone. Why we got limestone and not lemon stone, huh? What about the rest of the citruses? Evie Chainsmoker, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Time to go steal shit so Squirt Girl can come get me. Don't call me a coom. It says desert. It literally says desert on the right hand of my screen. I'd open my mouth. Real. Is that desert trappage? It does look like a trappage, yeah. But they're called maulers. I don't quite know what they do, but they're cute. Reminds me of those college students who made a gun with weaponized tears! I would have filled up so many tear guns. For real, on God. I feel like she would have a piece that is connected to a tube that leads into a gun so she can shoot it! Don't worry, you like it? Fair enough. Are you a Pokemon fan, Evie? Is that part of where your name comes from? Okay, so this is also desert. Give me a turnip, please. Is it? Oh, it is raining. Just out there. She always has to hydrate. True, she would have to keep so hydrated. Okay, that's not desert. This is beach. This is beach. I'm at beach. Why are you looking for desert turnips at beach? What? Stony Shore. It's in the middle of an island. Please. Transforms into a weeping bell! 18 plus games fan? Fair enough. Hell yeah. Can I become Squirt Girl? It's your destiny, Tani! Just aims her puss. Does that mean she has to have a hole in the bottom of her suit? Oh my god, pink sand! I love the pink sand. Okay, I'm gonna look up desert turnips. That's what I'm gonna do. What's the mod called? Desert turnip, nature's spirit. Okay. Minecraft. I just want to know about the turnip. What? Give me information! Oh, there's so many. Blooming Dunes? Oh, these are all pictures. Heck! I don't want a video, I want... I can't find anything about this fucking turnip, bro. Wait. Okay, so there's like some form of wiki that is completely in, I think it's Chinese, that has shown me what I need to look for. Bless. And it's a little yellow plant, a little yellow, like, sprout thing. That scared the shit out of me. Why did you make that noise? She can feel the breeze on her weapon of mass destruction. Turn the love heads to high settings, then shh. Imagine her doing acrobat moves and firing her crotch while the motion... American martial arts movie. That's exactly how I'm imagining it going down. 30,000 to 60,000 PSI. Jesus fuck. That's doing some damage. Orgasmo shoots electricity that can make people orgasm. Way to stop a crime. You get easily turned on fast? Oh boy. Well, chat is the place for you then. I'm not turning anyone on. I'm just here for the ride. I'm not a lewd tuber. I talk about sussy things, but I'm not myself a lewd tuber. I'd just be here talking shit. For real, on God. Okay, Why? What is that snow? Is there like a option to translate it? I might go to different desert biomes as well and see whether they also spawn there. Was a Blooming Dunes? That's also desert. I don't know, it feels right. It just feels right, okay? I think it's loading. Feel the breeze between the cheese? What does that mean? It is volcanic ash? Oh. Find the fucking... Okay, I was supposed to double click it, which I didn't do. Okay. That way. I still have a feeling I want an alien egg laid in me. Wild. I believe we've had a conversation here about that before. There's definitely been an egg-laying conversation, that's for sure. Because I mentioned how much I would rather lay an egg than have a period, because then I can just get it over and done with, you know? Moon jellyfish. I'm looking for the sunfishies. Ovipositor and villain's main goal is to eliminate the world with his alien eggs. Have you thought of this whole, like, universe, Pancake? To come back this way anyway. Shit. It's okay, I've got a waystone there, and I think my respawn point is set here as well, so that is good. I'm not gonna boat across this little river. Like, DC, but Rangarath, why is it named after me? You want the pregnancy? What kind of egg we talking here? This is very important. Like me? Like what kind of egg would I be laying? I don't know. Not a baby-sized egg. Like, because I feel like if humans were to lay eggs, right? The eggs wouldn't be the same size as like what a normal like human baby comes out as, because they develop in the egg, right? What if, like, snake egg? Because snake eggs are, like, the shell isn't hard, it's, like, squishy. I want to lay something like that. I just, like, lay one egg a month and just have it be over and done with. I am not Squat Girl! Ow. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh bitch. It's okay, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I need to sleep. It's okay. Why am I freaking out? I literally have a respawn set just over the hill. I'm gonna be fine. It's okay. It is okay. We are fine. We are not gonna pass away. I do want to sleep though. This is not... Are you on God right now? I like how I just tanked that. Fuck that creeper. Why did I drop that? Sleeved. Oh, shh. Another villain is Codpiece? Break banks and still... Great. I love the amount of thought you've put into this, Pancake. Squirty! That's her real name? Like, her parents named her that? That's wild. Be like some spiders who just sacrifice your mate's corpse to feed your children. Okay, I don't want that. Poor Henry. I would never sacrifice the hemorrhoid. I think I'm just jumping from here. Yeah, no, we good. Yats this. What time is it? Oh. I was actually genuinely planning on, like, having breaks tonight. Maybe I should have a break and then go for, like, another hour or something. I don't know. Should I have a break or should I end? Let me find this blooming dunes first and then- oh, never mind. I'm so far away from it. Can I pause and not die? I'm pretty sure yeah, I haven't opened to land, so I think I can pause and not die. I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. As my voice is like having a moment, and it's also very hot in here, so I'm gonna go stand in front of the air conditioner for like
I just want to say that I'm gay, but with me wanting alien children, you'll be happy.
I'm gay, but I want alien children. You know what? Whatever works for you, bestie. Have a Kit Kat. I unfortunately don't have any Kit Kats. I wish I did, but I don't. Alright, I will BRB. I'll give you all a little battle royale with the stream avatars. Hold on. Okay, I come back. I'll be back. I've stood in front of the air conditioner for a little bit, and I am cooled down. Come onwards. Yes, Blunder, join the Discord. One of us. One of us. Yo! Honestly, if I had a diamond pickaxe, I would take some of that obsidian, but I don't, so it's staying there. I'm so disappointed! Did you see the feet submission channel? Thank you for the pets! I took break, yay, I get pets. There was context, I promise. It wasn't good, but there was context. I keep going to delete it, and then everyone cries when I try to delete it. No one will let me delete it. So it's just forever there. Feet submission is my legacy. I wonder if I have the VOD for that stream. Basically, the context was that well, not me, Henry rated chat's feet on stream. I got people to send pictures of their feet, Henry rated them. We did a tier list. It was great. Some people got their feelings hurt. Yummy feet. Grippers. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Why am I yawning so much all of a sudden? I was fine. I hate how it gets to like... It usually gets to like 10:30 and it doesn't matter what time I got up. My body's like, it's sleepy time. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. I'm so sorry to be a disappointment. I mean, what else were you expecting? We've been talking about titty milk. Of course there's something to do with feet. But honestly, none of that was me. That was Henry and chat. I had nothing to do with that. I take no responsibility for that. The people ask and I provide. Someone was like, feet tier list stream when? And I was like, bet, okay. Wait, I need that. Ow. You bitch. Why the fuck do I have a bunch of saplings? Get out of my inventory. You are taking up space. Ow! Whoa! Did that one work? Okay, something's completed. Oh, hell yeah! I found a broken nether portal, so I got a quest. Fuck yeah! We are not going into the nether anytime soon. Okay, did that one work? The berries didn't work either. Huh. Ow. At the very least, I can get all the things into my inventory for when the quest does get fixed. And then I will just have the stuff. I won't have to go and find them again. How do I get permissions for sending memes? No. Actually, that would be a good idea to set up, is to have something like that. But honestly, then people would just spam the Discord and that would piss me off. No, I have to instead give you a special hidden role, which is to help prevent people from just being able to come in, accepting the rules, and posting whatever the fuck they want. It's just an extra bit of, like, safety and security. But you have the role now, you're all good. Post away. Do that memeing. Share photos of your animals and can't send them. Tani, I'm pretty sure you have the role. Hold on, let me look for you real quick. Oh, that's right, your name's not Tani, is it? It's something else. What's your Discord name again, Tani? It's, I think it starts with an M, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Nishka. There you go. You've got the role now. It would have been because I didn't recognize your name. Usually I'll, like, cross-reference the names from, like, Twitch chat. And if I just randomly see someone with a different name, usually I'm a little sussy. I have trauma, okay? I did get hate rated into my Discord very early on in my streaming. So I'm, like, real scared of seeing, like, names that I don't recognize from chat. But no, you're all good. You've got the role now. So you can post your pets. You're back from shower. Welcome back, Makala. We're still looking for a turnip. I'm determined to find turnip before stream end. What's the... There's another thing here. I've got oats growing at home. Green olives. I will have to look up where they grow because I wouldn't have the foggiest fucking idea to even know where to start. The trauma show! Yeah, my life. Still looking? Yeah, I couldn't find any in the desert that I found before. I did find some sweet berries, though. Which were also required for the quest. Also, I got an answer about my moo blooms. Hold on. Saw that when I opened Discord just now. Just ignore them because I was too... Okay. So Geek hasn't tried to do the moo blooms yet either, so we will see whether it works for him. Let's hope for the belly button chat in the future. What, you want belly button rating? I feel like that's another step from feet. We're heading into true degenerate territory now. Ba-ba-ba! The human torrent master of flow. The enemies won't see it coming. You should write an NSFW comic, Pancake. People have hairy chests and bellies. That's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of floof on your chest and your tummy. Give them a team name! As long as you're fine with hairy dad bod belly. Oh god. I can't believe you guys are actually like, hell yeah! Belly button rating! Y'all are not seeing my fucking belly button. It's like, I didn't participate in the feet tier list either. I was like, fuck all that. That shit's not free. Although what I have done before, and I don't know whether it could be found anywhere, is there was one stream where I got... I can't remember how many subs it was. I think it was gifted 10 subs to make a smoothie out of salt and vinegar chips, potato chips, water, and drink it. And I did that, and I also dipped my toe in it. And there was a recording of it. I did have a sip. I did not drink the whole thing, but I did drink some of it, and it was disgusting. As disgusting as you would expect it to be. I also hate salt and vinegar chips with a passion. They are the worst flavor. If hair is bad, then I'm a gross animal. Well, you're not, so... You have a lot of floof. Floof is cute. I like the floof. Make it harder to judge compared to a shaved belt. True, true. You've got a point there, Gum, but a belly button is a belly button nonetheless. His sidekick is Cream Pie, a male superhero person that grew in the size to be used as a blunt object. Are you like, Pancake, are you coming up with all of this like on the fly, or have you actually spent time coming up with this? If a belly button piercing, fuck yeah, immediate bonus points. Do people finger their belly buttons? In what way, Blunder? In what way? I'm gonna need a little bit more context. Hello, Ciano. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Don't even mind what's going on in chat right now. Especially Pancake's tangent. You're coming up with this in real time. I think you need to sit down and do some writing, Pancake. You need to get it all out onto paper. Have to stand up against the salt and vinegar chips? Yes, we do. I'm so sorry, Tani. I hate them. They taste like I am eating a chip covered in acid. And that is not my vibe. It physically hurts. Mobile app crashed. You lost your spot. No! Wait, your spot? There's a queue? Doesn't ring right. You refuse further context? Okay, I respect your right to remain silent. But to answer your question, no, I do not just finger my belly button. In any context, really. Would I have to go to belly buttons, cream pie in the hub? Yeah, I do not know. I'm just letting it happen. It's funny. You were eating them earlier? I mean, no judgment to people that like them. I just personally think they're nasty. The Cunnilingus! Is that the superhero team name? I love it. Thank you for adding that as a quote. I love how many cursed quotes we have that just have zero context. I'm also flabbergasted. The tape tickles your sorry? Hello? Ciano, what? Oh, shit, fuck. Go away. Are you serious? This is why I have a bow. Will he blow up if he's in the boat? Oh, yes, he will. I thought he was gonna be like, nice, because he was in my boat. Intrusive thoughts took over! Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die here. Only time I put my fingers near my belly button is when I shower and clean it out, because Harry, real. I know what you mean. There's a meaning? When you fart and it travels up your tank. What have I created? I do know exactly what you mean. You put a photo of your dog in the Discord? Let me look! I'm gonna go look right now. Oh my goodness! Oh baby! There's a fluffy little baby Tiny. I love them. Superhero name, Testicles. If you got a dick, does it, like, tickle your balls? Yeah. Yeah, that literally, Mikala answered my question before I even finished asking it. Great. We're learning so many things today. I'm so proud of us. This happens every time. The ball hammers. So give someone else tickling your own taint with long nails till an accidental fart. Are you speaking from what is happening? Are you speaking from experience, Ciano? Has that happened to you before? Have you been tickle tortured in your taint until you farted? Streams have been very educational. Shit, they're educational to me.
I stopped listening for literally 2 seconds and now I'm confused.
Oh, I had shuffle mode on. Thank you. Thank you. That was... I was so confused as to what was happening to my inventory. Ow! That hurted. That's not fair. That hurted. Learning a lot of personal kinks. Not mine, though. I'm just here. I'm just learning everyone else's. Okay, what's this? Yellow wildflower. Is that... That's not what I'm looking for, I don't think. No. It looked different. Get away from me! Get away from me, child! Go away, crotch goblin. Leave, leave, leave. Thank you. Ooh, is it those? Is it those? Please. Please. No comment! Stop listening for 2 seconds. Yeah, no, I've been listening the whole time and I'm still confused. Is it these? These look right. Turnip stem! Okay, let me dig. Turnip! Turnip! I found turnip! Yay! There's so many of them. Oh my goodness. Give me these. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but I'll take them anyway. Because there's lots of them. There's so many. Hell yeah. There's so many. Jesus. Very hap, hap. I found a turnip. I got lots of them. So
Here comes the tickle monster. She gonna tickle your taint and put her finger in your mouth as you try to breathe but slowly turning out your into it. Note to self, never sleep with a tuber.
Yeah? On frog? That was a TTS. I'm not sure what that has to do with sleeping with a VTuber, but I'm not sure I want to know. Turnip soup! I am Blowjob, the human vacuum, the king of suck! What is Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Isn't it a cereal? I think it's cereal, right? Okay. I'm gonna piss. I'm gonna piss on foods of the wild. How about that? Okay, well, I found them, except olives. What was... That's also nature's spirit. Please, Google. Olive. Piss mic? What does that... Huh? Does it sound like I'm pissing into the mic? Because I'm not. I promise. Is it a tree? Olive trees. I want to know what I get these olives from. Is there an olive tree? Okay, that might be... Olive planks. I think there's a tree. Yeah, olive sapling. Okay, okay. Let's find out where olive trees. What do they look like? That will help. Thank you, Google, for being no use at all. You're right, olives do normally grow on trees. I forget that sometimes. You don't want to know it gets darker? Oh my god. Ass. Okay, that's not gonna help me. The fuck does an olive tree look like? Is that an olive tree? Finds first green tree. Is that an olive tree? What biome would an olive tree grow in? It's willow tree. A Bolivar! Based Pokemon. It's a tree Pokemon about olives growing on trees. You right. You right. I love a Bolivar. I especially love Smoliv. Smoliv is so fucking cute. I don't want to have to watch an entire fucking video for it. I just want the answer. Olive. Yes, I'm aware that there are olive trees in the fucking mod, the mod. But where? Nature's Compass, help me out. Just type the word olive.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. It's an olive tree. Oh look, two magpies doing it.
What? Are they doing it in the olive tree? Skip most of the video. But then I don't know. How am I gonna know which part of the video the answer's actually in? It's 20 minutes. And I've got an ad. Off to a great start. Showcase, dry desert, ice desert, swamps? Oh wait. He says he'll throw all the he'll show all the trees. Maybe he'll go through where to find the trees. I want the olive. At the very least, this will show me what it looks like. Oh, wait. No, it's a mangrove. Why is it so green? Willow. I like the willow tree. I like willow trees. If I had to pick a favorite tree, it would be willow trees. They're so pretty. Specifically like weeping willows. I don't think it's that one. Sakura. What is that? I don't think that's an olive tree. Do you get an ad for? Honestly, I don't fucking remember. I skipped past it so quick. I get a lot of ads for like Fiverr, and I get a lot of ads for Pet Barn because that's where I get stuff for my cats from. But I can't remember specifically what that ad was. That is a huge tree, what the fuck? Baobab. Where's the olive sapling? Bitch, what? Did he do all of them except the olive sapling? It's the one before the Sakura sapling. It's mahogany. He doesn't plant the olive tree. I'm gonna shit and piss. Okay. Let's do this a different way. It looks like it belongs in a swamp. I'm not gonna lie. The olive tree. I don't even know where to start. You guys get ads for Tinder? I get ads for Hinge on TikTok a lot. Like a lot of Hinge ads, which is hilarious because I don't talk about dating apps or anything. Or search them up. I wonder who those kinds of ads target. Like whether they just target like the younger demographic of people. Like they determine that you're a younger person. They're like, oh, they must want to hear about this dating app. Food delivery. I get food delivery as well. Specifically, menu log. I get a lot of. I think that's an acacia tree. Yeah. I'll check it anyway, just in case. Because I doubt myself. Yeah, acacia. What's that? Oh, it's copper. I might call it there, homies. Because I am getting tired, and I also apparently have to do some research on where to find olive trees, because I'm not just gonna walk around aimlessly. And also see if I can figure out why some of these quests aren't questing. This one, for example, is just deciding that it doesn't want to do anything. So I think what I'm gonna do is start, like, do a creative world and see if I can get to this point as well. And see what happens after that. See if it's got something to do with my save or something. It do be late. It is almost midnight. So I think this is a good time to finish up. And it's also 5 minutes before ads start. So that's also a huge bonus. Alrighty, let's see who is live. for me to raid out to. Who is live? Oh, Ryan's live. I do love some good Ryan content. Alright, he's back after a few days off. Fuck yeah. I've noticed he hasn't been streaming the last few days. We'll have to raid into Ryan. Anyone that's here probably likes Pokemon content, so y'all will enjoy it there. He is shiny hunting. He's always shiny hunting. That's his thing. And he's just a really sweet human being as well. And his community is great. No, that's okay. I've just been chilling, finding a few of the foods, but I've given up on the olive for now until I can do some research off stream on where to find it. Alright. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you haven't already, which I think the Discord's been plugged a few times this stream, but I'm gonna do it again. If I can't spell, I look like a clown. Ryan's chat is not like here. Yes, keep your... Ryan's chat is safe for work. Very family friendly. Do not bring your horniness into Ryan's chat. You will get banned. It is different vibes from here. But there's a Discord. If you're not already in there, please jump in. I will get the raid set up. And here are y'all's raid messages. Oh, Sable's on it. Here's the raid message for you guys. I'm just a baby, literally me. Hingely unhinged, exactly. No belly buttons mentioned, exactly. Thank you guys so much for coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all again on Thursday night at the same time. Love you all. Bye for now. Bye.